Tiger fans are looking to roar as they take on a must-win for both teams. The kickoff coming up next on FSN.
It's called Purple Pride, and the visiting Wildcats are looking to claw their way back to conference contention. The defense must hunker down. And who's going to light the fire for the K-State offense? On the other side of the ball, Missouri is looking to get its high-octane offense on track. Quarterback Brad Smith is as talented as they come, and he'll try and put it all together today. Kansas State and Missouri. It's gut-wrench time in the Big 12 North. Next on FSN. A crowd in excess of 60,000 expected today on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon at Faurot Field. Brad Smith, the quarterback, one of the most talented QBs in the nation for Missouri, and Darren Sproles, a returning All-American at running back for the Kansas State Wildcats. So from the campus of the University of Missouri in Columbia, it's the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Game of the Week. This afternoon, Kansas State and Missouri getting together in a key North Division battle. And look at this. It is a logjam. Literally, it is still anybody's game with 3 weeks to go in the regular season. Amazing as that may seem. And good afternoon, everybody. Along with Dave Lapham, I'm Drew Goodman. Coaches are fond of saying the games people remember are played in November. Well, suffice it to say, this is a huge ball game for both schools. Both teams have plenty of talent offensively. For Missouri, it begins with Brad Smith. He's a two-way go. He's got to get the feet going today, though.
That's exactly right. You know, his offense revolves around his ability to run the football. And people have stacked the line of scrimmage, preventing him from running the football. His numbers are phenomenal. His next touchdown pass makes him the all-time career leader. He's number 10 all-time in rushing as a quarterback, though. It's a lot easier to throw when you can run it. And he'll get some help running the football. Damian Nash averaging 87 yards a game. Those 7 touchdowns will help them score touchdowns in the red zone. He brings back the physical presence in the running game. He is a powerful running back that will lower his shoulder pads and finish people. And he's looking for his opportunity coming back from that one-game suspension.
Well, similar to Missouri, Kansas State also very talented at quarterback and at running back. Darren Sproles is a big man in a small package.
He is an exceptional athlete, a phenomenal guy. The numbers he's put up are incredible. 3 straight years now, he's had over 1,500 yards all-purpose, and he's 64 yards from rushing for 1,000 for 3 straight years. And he does it in a remarkable fashion. He can run backwards and sideways as fast as he can run forward. And he's complemented by Dylan Meyer. They asked the quarterback to do a lot at the line of scrimmage. He's quick-minded. He gets out of bad plays into good plays, and he can make some good plays himself. Very athletic. He's got some explosiveness, some speed, some acceleration himself. Plus, he has a very good throwing arm. He can make all the throws, very accurate down the football field. He can stretch the defense. Dylan Meyer's a two-way go, just like Brad Smith.
Maybe the most important word of the day, consistency. Both schools looking for consistency offensively and defensively. Well, there's Sherdania Mitchell. He makes plays in the secondary for the Tigers. Marvin Simmons, you got to look out for him, an extraordinary linebacker for K-State. Kansas State and Missouri, come on back to Columbia with us. That they've hooked up, and Missouri has not defeated Kansas State since 1992, so that is somewhere in the recesses of their mind.
You're right. That's a wall that they need to knock down. Coach Pinkel talks about barriers, walls that have to come down. Last year, Missouri beat Nebraska. This year, they want to beat Kansas State. Another wall to come tumbling down.
Now, Gary Pinkel has done a marvelous job here in Columbia, Missouri. Both teams, interestingly, depending on what poll you subscribe to, we're in the top 20 at the beginning of the year. Let's check in with the third member of our crew. Here comes Jim Knox.
All right, thanks, Drew. On top of the fire engine with Truman the Tiger. That's right. Truman and the rest of the Missouri Tigers will be looking to put out a big-time fire today. They will look to knock off Kansas State for the first time in 11 years, and in the process,
championships hopes alive. On the other side of the football, you have Kansas State. They have to win today. A loss by Kansas State, and they will not be bowl eligible for the first time in 11 years. So a must win for both teams. Coming up next, the kickoff between K-State and Missouri right after this quick timeout. Yeah!
And Alex Woodley will be back deep, and that temperature at 62 degrees heading north. And the forecast, you bet, is perfect.
Look at that, 0% humidity. It's a great day for a football game on FSN, I'll tell you that. The Missouri offense is going to get the ball, Drew. They've only scored 3 points in their last 6 quarters of play. I want to get off the schneid.
Yeah, they got off to that 17-0 lead in the first half against Oklahoma State, and since that time there's been a power outage offensively. So here we go, Joe Ream into the football. And it'll go through the end zone. So Missouri will begin at the 20-yard line as we check the Yamaha starters offensively. At quarterback, Brad Smith is a junior. He is one of the most exciting players in college football. He can run it, he can throw it. And teams like Kansas State want to make him one-dimensional, and that is one of the huge keys to this football game, Dave. Can Kansas State keep him contained and not let him hurt them with his feet?
Well, Kansas State is known to put one more in the box at the line of scrimmage, a safety in the box, one more than you can block. Will they put 8 in the box to stop Brad Smith running the football and make him throw it? Teams are saying, Brad, you're not going to beat us with your feet. We're going to make you beat us with your throwing arm.
Please initiate the time when I give the signal.
Just making sure, the referee making sure that the play clock started prematurely to the referee's desire. And Bill Snyder saying, what's that about?
So here we go. Damian Nash, the single setback behind Brad Smith. And Smith throws low, but it's complete to Coffee. He's a big target, and he'll drag his way out for a gain of about 9. Let's check the offensive line for Missouri. They've done a pretty decent job this year. They really have high hopes for Speakers, a redshirt freshman. Tony Palmer, a junior, is the best of the bunch, 52 at left guard. The guys will handle the football. Coffee, as I mentioned, big target at 6'5". Thompson Oboga has played a lot of football. He's a senior. Hand the football off, and a big gain right there for Marcus Woods. Still going to the 42-yard line. So Marcus Woods, the redshirt freshman from Farmington Hills, Michigan, busts one.
And Missouri's excited because they got a running play to the next level, the second level. And well blocked up front. And Marcus Woods shows some speed. I mean, he does a good job of just outrunning people on the perimeter. Maurice Thurman, the outside linebacker, had no chance. The angle that he took brought him up much short of Marcus Woods.
A gain of 29 on the play. Out of the shotgun. Smith throws outside, and it is complete to Mboga to the 37-yard line. For Mboga's 30th catch of the year in front of Brett Jones. And defensively, here's K-State. Jermaine Berry is a terrific player. No Kevin Huntley today. He's got a bad knee, and that is a big omission in the defensive lineup for Kansas State. At the linebacker level, Archer's a good player. Simmons in the middle is terrific. And in the secondary, the best cover man, Cedric Williams. Tetuan's played a lot of football as well back there.
And this is Cedric Williams, Drew. He's fighting a knee problem as well.
And the football off. Woods, a little of this, a little of that. Across the 35 to the 34-yard line. And once again, it's Brett Jones defensively for the Wildcats. Let's take a look at the Napa keys to the game. Keys to victory for Missouri, Dave. What do you have?
Well, the first thing, Drew, they want to be physical. They'd love to outrush Kansas State today. They're 0-4 when they get outrushed. They want to take the football away. Don't give it away. Last week against Missouri, -2. For the season, they're +8, 11th best in the country. Sound kicking game. That cost them the game against Nebraska. They had a punt blocked. The punter dropped. Haynes dropped a perfect snap to set up another score for Nebraska. That was the difference in the game.
Damian Nash is in there at tailback. He gets the call on 3rd and 2, and he'll have the first down.
Whoa.
You think he's ready to go?
Man, he's ready.
He had last week off. He was suspended by Gary Pinkel. He was critical of the play calling 2 weeks ago in the second half against Oklahoma State, and he became a spectator last week. But he's back in the good graces this week.
He is. You know, he signed a contract. Gary Pinkel and Damian Nash, an actual contract was drawn up that Gary Pinkel signed, as well as Nash, saying this is what you're going to have to do to get back with this football team. And a week later, Nash obliged all those requirements, and here he is.
1st and 10.
Ball's out.
Ball's out. Is that an incomplete pass?
No, I think it bounced off his knee. I don't know. Was it a shovel pass? Yeah, I don't think it was a shovel pass. I think it bounced off his knee.
Tom Ollers is getting his crew together. They're trying to figure it out. It's Kansas State football.
Yeah, Brad Smith, it's faking a handoff, and after he fakes the handoff, the ball just bounces right off his knee. There's no shovel pass. It's just a play-action fake, and the ball bounces straight up in the air as that Maurice Thurman comes up with it.
Man, that is catastrophic. Missouri was in the midst of a tremendous drive.
Yeah.
And that is very odd. One of the things Gary Pinkel talked about when he took this job is we will not beat ourselves. Coaches talk about it. Missouri, as you saw in that graphic, has lived it. Fewest turnovers in college football in the last 3.5 years.
In 15 games, Drew, that under Pinkel, they've had no turnovers out of 52 games total.
Here's Meyer on a quarterback draw, and he'll get maybe a half a yard. That's it. James Kinney made the tackle, number 24. Dylan Myers. We look at the Yamaha starters offensively for Kansas State. Big, strong kid. If the name Meyer sounds familiar, should be. They've had a Meyer go through Kansas State, Shad, and end up in the NFL.
Tennessee Titans, tight end for the Titans.
And there's another one coming.
That's a heck of a family for the Wildcats.
Second and 10. Meyer, 3-step drop, and he throws high in the flat, trying to get it to Yamon Figures. It'll be 3rd and 10. And the rest of the offensive starters up front, they're very good at the tackles with Doty and Clary. Mike Johnson's played a lot of football, primarily at guard. He's snapping the ball this year. The guards are a little bit young. Jermaine Marrera is a good receiver. You know all about Sproles. Brian Casey's a big target at 6'7", the tight end. 3rd down and a long 9. They need the 29 plus.
Checking it off, changing the play. Dylan Meyer changing it.
Meyer with time, and he's going to try to run it, and he's going to get down short of the 1st down. Good coverage, obviously, in that Missouri secondary. He went through his whole progression, couldn't find anybody.
Yeah, it was great coverage, and I'll tell you, that's a good play by the Missouri defense, that entire stand, Drew, because a sudden change. After a turnover, they didn't get their daubers down. 1, 2, 3 and out. They hold Kansas State 3 snaps, get it back to the offense. It was executing so well. That's good team defense.
No, punting has been difficult this year for Kansas State. They have not covered well. Rayer's punt high and should be covered. Mboga at the 31-yard line with a fair catch. So a good job that time by Tim Rayer, the true freshman. And now Missouri will set up shop at their own 31-yard line with 11:03 to go in the opening quarter.
You're right, Drew, about the punt team. Last week, Danny Amendola from Texas Tech took one back 90 yards for a touchdown that was pivotal in that loss to the Red Raiders. So kicking game is going to be monstrous today, like it is in every game. Bill Snyder, Gary Pinkel, acutely aware of the importance of that phase of the game. It let their respective teams down last week, and they spent a little extra time in meetings, a little extra time in the practice field trying to rectify problems in the kicking game.
Empty backfield. Pressure coming on Smith, and he unloads complete, but out of bounds. Mboga made the catch, but he couldn't get 1 foot down, so it'll be 2nd and 10. Closing quickly was Thierryus George. He's getting the start for Huntley, Dave.
Yeah, and George is a very active player. He's got 5 tackles for loss, and he's forced a couple of fumbles, and this is his game. You know, he's got the big old neck roll on, doesn't he? I mean, looks like Quasimodo running around out there, but he's a fast Quasimodo, 6'4", 250 pounds, and he's got some quicks.
And he does have the hunchback going. He's got the big old neck roll.
I think he's got the double neck roll on. Smith dumps it.
Flag.
And a flag comes in, the first of the afternoon, as Marcus Woods picks up 4.
Well, there was a little shovel pass. I'm wondering if a lineman went downfield prematurely to the shovel pass. I wonder if there was an ineligible guy that released downfield.
You know what's great about officials now in college football? You look at them, they look like announcers. He's got the microphone on.
That's right.
The pass was thrown behind the line of scrimmage.
So no one eligible.
Therefore, we have no foul.
Right. There was no ineligible man downfield because the pass was thrown behind the line of scrimmage.
So it'll be 3rd down and 6 for Gary Pinkel's team, or a long 5.
I guess he might have thought that Smith was across the line of scrimmage when he shoveled the ball. And he definitely was behind the line of scrimmage. And nobody had released down the football field for sure.
Wood stands next to Smith. Kansas State brings 4. And they had one-on-one coverage on the outside. And they'll throw that 50-50 ball with Sean Coffey, figuring he can come down with it at 6'5". Didn't work out this time, and they'll have to punt the football.
Exactly. 6'5", 220 pounds. And he's a guy that is going to be a physical receiver. Just a little dart thrown by Brad Smith there. Reminds a lot of people of Justin Gage, his Coffey. Justin Gage now with the Chicago Bears in the National Football League. Very big athletic receiver.
Cross, it'll punt it.
Haynes lost the job last week temporarily here.
Figures from his 23. He'll try to reverse field. And he's down. 10:22 to go in the first quarter. No score. Bill Snyder's team is a very uncharacteristic 3-5. But he told his guys, guess what? You're very fortunate.
To still be at this late date and have an opportunity to, you know, still repeat as a conference champion is an absolutely amazing thing. You know, I've said to our players, I mean, you're the most fortunate young people on the face of the earth. You know, some people get a second chance every once in a while, and by the grace of God, you might get a third chance. But I mean, we're looking at 4th and 5th chances here, and that's not supposed to happen.
You know, Sproles tries to pick a spot and doesn't get much. Missouri's been very steady defensively this year. You know, Snyder was very funny the other day when we were talking to him, Dave. I said, you know, coaches will come up with game plans for a couple weeks and say, well, it's a new season. We have a 3-game season. We have 5 games. He said, you know what? We've had so many speeches like that, so many restarts. He said, I don't think they'd buy into any more restarts.
Right. Yeah. He's broken the season down into probably 3 or 4 seasons already within one. And you know, for the first time since 1989, at the 8-game mark, they've won less than 4 games. First time since the first year he was at Kansas State.
They'll go play action here on 2nd down.
Oh.
And that was nearly a pick.
Should have been.
Over the head.
Mitchell. Man.
Of Saba, and Mitchell, who has 4 picks this year, should have had his 5th, and he'd be dancing in the end zone right now.
Yeah, this is an opportunity that you have to take advantage of defensively, and here we're taking a look at the defensive guys. And up front, the tackles drew the middle of that defensive line. The tackles are the strength, and James Kinney's within 22 tackles of a career best, #1 all-time. And watch Jason Simpson at that safety position. Mitchell, like Drew said, with the 4 interceptions, should have had his 5th for a touchdown.
3rd and 10. Missouri brings 3. Meyer threw almost another pick right in the hands of Henry Sweat, and he dropped it.
Wow. Back-to-back plays. You got to secure the pig. And in back-to-back opportunities, the door of opportunity was knocking for Missouri, and they couldn't answer it. Meyer overthrows and throws behind. And boy, Sweat can't haul that one in. And Mitchell makes a great read, does everything but catch the ball. They moved him to defensive back. He's a former wide receiver. He had trouble catching the football. They moved him to corner, and he had remedied those problems with those interceptions, but dropped a big one there.
Mboga is going to get away from this one, and it takes a Kansas State bounce, several of them, in fact. And they'll down it inside the 20-yard line. So Rayer's punt is outstanding. 59 yards on the punt. 1st and 10 at the 19 for Missouri when we come back. For any outdoor activity, namely football. Here in early November with Dave Lapham and Jim Knox, I'm Drew Goodman. Scoreless in the first quarter. Missouri with it for the 3rd time. And they throw it to a wide receiver. The ball's on the ground, and Kansas State has its 2nd turnover of the ball game.
Man, that's amazing. I think losing the football was Cisse, I believe.
It split Victor Cisse. He picked up a yard and then put it on the ground. And coming up with it, Scott Edmonds.
Yep. And now in the red zone already. Kansas State in the red zone, and Alan Webb was warming up before the change of possession here. Be interesting to see who goes in at the quarterback position. But Missouri now 2 turnovers, back-to-back series. They cough the football up. Cisse spits it out. And it's Kansas State football -2, and they had an opportunity for back-to-back plays to make an interception. They dropped both of those, so Missouri having turnover problems big early on.
It is Meyer under center, and he's going to call a timeout. Whatever front was presented by Missouri confounded Dylan Meyer. Oregon State. Well, Gary Pinkel has always said we can't beat ourselves. Right now, Missouri's on Missouri's schedule, Dave.
Right on. They're self-destructing, and it's been a problem for them the last 6 quarters. Make it number 7. Jump early.
And you come out of a timeout, and the first thing you do is your big left guard, Wooldridge, got all 330 pounds in motion before the snap of the ball.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 64 of the offense, 5 yards, still 1st down.
When you're as big as he is, 6'2", 330, you can't hide. I mean, that's a big body. And he's going to come out of there a little bit soon. You got to know the snap count. Looking to play again is Meyer at the line of scrimmage.
And you can hear Saba whisper it, or shout it actually, to be more accurate to Sproles. They'll run short side option, and Meyer is tied up and dropped by James Kinney, one of the all-time tackle leaders in the history of Missouri football.
Yeah, he needs 22, make it 21 now after that play to be the #1 all-time leading tackler.
We used to call the games of the guy who's #1, Damani Cross, as you look at the Auto Care Center, brought to you by Napa. Keys to the game for Kansas State.
Well, they got to get Sproles touches. Spring Sproles not only running the football, catching it, returning kicks, sure tackling. They've had problems tackling in their bad stretch here in the open field, and secure Brad Smith, contain him, keep him in the pocket.
Meyer pumps, and an end zone shot is over the head of Figures. So it'll be 3rd and 15.
Missouri doing a great job once again at defending. This is a sudden change for the 2nd time. The offense has put the defense in bad situations. This one a terrible situation as they're in the red zone, but they get enough pressure to cause the quarterback Meyer to throw the ball through the end zone. So there is a penalty on Kansas State. It made it 15 yards to travel for 1st down. Now they're facing 3rd and 15 after getting the ball 1st and 10 at the 20. They're 3rd and 15 at the 25. Great sudden change by the Missouri defense.
They need the 10-yard line. Missouri,
well, false start again. Somebody moved early up front.
And I'll tell you what, that's huge, Dave, because if they don't pick up any yards, you're looking at, instead of a 42-yard field goal, in the neighborhood of 47 yards, and now you're at the outreaches of Joe Ream's range.
Delay a game on the offense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
No movement, play clock expires, and Bill Snyder not happy at all.
These are things that shouldn't happen in November.
Right. Oh, no question. Joe Ream is 11 for 12 on the season, Drew, almost 92%.
He's 3 for 4 from 40 to 49 yards, and that's what this would be. This would be in that 48, 49-yard range. That's where he's had his only miss of the season. He's tried 4 times. He's hit on 3 of them. But this would be the outermost of the range.
7 up tight for Missouri. They bring 5. Myers got to throw it in the ground.
It's intentional grounding.
That is.
The line of scrimmage.
They're going to end up having to punt the football after having the ball at the 19-yard line.
Yep. They lose the yards and the down. Dylan Meyer throws the ball away to avoid a sack and does not get the ball past the line of scrimmage.
Pick up the flag. Number 43 was in a position to catch the ball.
Okay, he said that Sproles was there as a screen pass recipient. He was in the area, and the ball was thrown at Sproles' feet. Watch Sproles. Watch what takes place during it. It's a screen pass. Linemen are trying to release, and Sproles is just wrapped up. I mean, he could have get called for holding, really. The ball is thrown right at his feet. Nice job by Jason Simpson, though, recognizing the screen and doing a number on Sproles.
Ream's career long 49 is 11 of 12 this year. Good snap, good hold from 47. It's blocked. Loose football. Out to the 49-yard line with the football. Jason Simpson, I believe C.J. Mosley blocked it.
Yes, he did. The big fella got his hand on it, and Simpson came up with the block kick. How about that defensive stand? Kansas State gets a short field, 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line, ends up in a blocked field goal. That's just an incredible effort. Watch the penetration, get the hand up, boom. Knocked it down. You talk about penetration. It was right on top of the kicker. No chance at all to get the elevation because of the penetration. Simpson makes a great play recovering the football. The swing of field position is monstrous by the defense and field goal block unit.
Brad Smith. Oh.
Incomplete.
They're calling that incomplete, not a fumble. He got lit up. Brad Smith, as he looked to unload, got lit up by Brandon Archer.
Yep.
I have to tell you what, defensively for Missouri, there's a World Series celebration going on in their sideline. They were so excited about everything they got done. Mosley blocked this with his chest.
Yeah, look at the penetration he gets, though. He gets this guy back on skates, and he's up on top of the kicker. I mean, that penetration's extreme. The elevation, maybe not the greatest, but you cannot allow 5 yards penetration right at the kicker when he's only 8 yards from the line of scrimmage. That's just great bull rush by Mosley.
Quarterback keep. Smith bounces it. He's got the edge. And that's the Brad Smith folks in the Big 12 saw a lot of over his first 2 seasons in Columbia.
And what Missouri's trying to do by formation is empty the box out, spread people out. You're going to see a lot of shotgun quarterback run package. The blocking is exactly the same as it is when they're running with 2 backs in the backfield, but you have that extra back as a blocker so you can outgap people, and by formation spread the defense out to eliminate extra people in the box and spread the field out for Brad Smith to take advantage of.
They're in plus territory at the 40-yard line of K-State in a scoreless first quarter. Coffee splits wide to the short side. Here's Damian Nash, and he is tripped up. Good looking play by Quentin Eccles. He got penetration, and he was able to dive and get Nash around the ankles. No gain.
What an incredible start to this game for Missouri. -2 in the turnover department. One of them on a short field. No points yet.
So it'll be 2nd and 10, and the first down line is brought to you by Overstock.com, your online outlet. It's all about the O. Nash stays in the football game. And Smith has to unload early, and he throws behind his intended target.
Well, the rush was phenomenal. Right in his face is Scott Edmonds again.
Yeah, Rucker was running down the field, and he hadn't even turned to the football.
Edmonds recovered Cisse's fumble, and he did a good job of pressuring right there. He's coming off the line of scrimmage very, very well. Great first step.
They feel the strength of the defense is probably at the end position, and traditionally Kansas State has had terrific ends.
and they're missing their best defensive lineman today. Kevin Huntley has got a knee injury. He's unavailable. But Edmonds is stepping up.
3rd and 11. Edmonds got penetration. They dump it. Nash will have a first down and more. Nash inside the 10-yard line, and he keeps his feet and score. A flag came in late in the area of a downfield block. Nash got to the 5-yard line, but a flag was thrown and came in late from the back judge.
I'll tell you, the screen pass was well executed, and I'm not sure which of the offensive linemen it was, but there was a great first block. I think it might have been Joe Giannino that got the block to get the screen pass started for Nash. And as you mentioned, Drew, trying to make that downfield block to make it a huge play, a hold.
Holding, number 87 of the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, first down.
Let's take a look at how the offensive line got it started with a great block, and then Mboga down the field gets called for the hold. Watch the block right here. There's the kick out. Ooh, a little bit of a grab. Got away with a hold right there. I think that was Giannino that got that kick out block. Then Mboga down the field. Right here is the hold and the takedown. And good hit, good fistful of jersey there, not allowing the defender to make a play on Nash, and it cost him 10.
But it is a first down from the 26-yard line. Movement up front. And rejected is Marcus Woods. He got in the hole. He came firing back the other direction. Well, we'll see if
I think Kansas State
procedure on
I think Kansas State jumped. I think they jumped. And I think it was a free play. Yeah.
It was encroachment on the defensive line of Kansas State. That's a freebie. It'll be 1st and 5.
Number 91 of the defense, 5 yards from the previous spot, 1st and 5.
That's big Jermaine Berry. There's the jump right there. You can't do that. You can't listen to the quarterback. You can't listen to the hard count, the voice inflection. Watch the ball with your peripheral vision and move when it moves.
Rucker in motion. Woods, big opening inside the 10. Touchdown, Missouri. Marcus Woods with his first collegiate score.
Boy, I'll tell you, they secured the edge so beautifully. And downfield, the blocking by the wide receiver finished the play. Excellent execution.
A 21-yard touchdown run for Marcus Woods. Joe Tannerelli on. And he makes it 7-0. So Missouri, which has had one opportunity and coughed it up, then coughed it up again, finally cashes in. Woods from 21 yards away. The home folks happy right now. Hills, Michigan. And this kick into the wind is returnable from the 4-yard line. Morera, and he's got a big opening. He's got an enormous opening. He's going to get it out to midfield and perhaps slightly beyond. Jermaine Morera. He didn't lose the football, though.
No, he didn't.
With the return for Kansas State.
What you have to do as a return guy is make a quick decision. Watch the wedge execute. Look at the lanes, the coverage lane integrity is broken down by Missouri. They get out of their coverage lanes, and Kansas State does a good job of getting their blocks out of the wedge. And Morera's at midfield before you can blink your eyes. It's single file. Missouri's out of their coverage lane so much that they're all single file in a huge, huge cavity.
Sproles gets the call. He breaks one tackle and gets just a couple of yards. And that is it. It'll be 2nd and 8. Dr. Pepper game break. Let's check in with Bill Jones. Bill?
All right, let's check out action in the Southeastern Conference. It's Arkansas and South Carolina tied at 7, late first quarter. We know Matt Jones can run with the football, and he will find the pylon. He's in for the score, and the Razorbacks take the early 14-7 lead on South Carolina. Back to you.
All right, Bill, thank you. 2nd and 8. Here's a little option look. Meyer. And he's tackled after about 3 yards, making his way down the line of scrimmage. C.J. Mosley, a 305-pounder from Leonard Wood. Touchdown again, Dave.
Watch Rucker come in motion and get a seal block on the edge here. And then watch Sean Coffey, number 12, come in and get, there's the seal block. Look at the crack back right there. The crack block right there by Coffey. Now watch Bo Beeman, the fullback. Boom. He gets the nice lead block on Cedric Williams, and it's off to the races. That was great execution by the offensive line on the right side, the tight end, the wide receiver, and the fullback. The execution met the effort level on that play.
3rd and 5. Kinney shows blitz. Meyer calls timeout.
You know what Missouri's doing so well? They are jumping around and giving different looks to Meyer while he's trying to set the defense, and he's trying to audibilize and get out of a bad play too late. Missouri's playing with his head by jumping around prior to the snap.
2 timeouts burned already in this first quarter by Kansas State. Let's pay a visit to a guy who always makes a grand entrance today on a fire truck. Jim Knox. Knoxy, what do you know?
Thank you, Drew. I tell you what, Marcus Woods may be a freshman, but he's a smart player. After that touchdown, came here in the huddle and just congratulated every one of his offensive linemen. Also having a good time with Damian Nash on the sidelines, guys.
Tell you, that's where it starts, Knoxy. It always starts up front with the big boys. You got to give Rucker his props. And Coffey had a great crackback block.
Well, you know, as an offensive lineman, Dave, if you do your job in the run game, you're going to get 5.
Right.
If your wideouts do their job, you can turn 5 into 50.
No question. And, you know, wideouts, tight ends, fullbacks, lead blockers, they had it all going on. And Bo Beeman is a great story. You know, a former walk-on, came to Missouri. And, this kid walks on, and now he's a captain of this football team a year later.
That's an amazing story. We'll tell you a little bit more about Bo Beeman as the afternoon progresses.
There the man right there. Talk about a kid that has leadership capabilities.
He didn't play his first 2 years. He walked on last year.
Yeah. Now he's captain of the team and made a huge block right there that led to a touchdown.
He also won their Hammer Award last year for most big hits. Right now, Meyer on 3rd and 5 is 0 for 5 throwing the football. They try to heat him up. Meyer's in trouble. And they're going to get him from behind. Short of the first down. Brian Smith, he comes in passing down. He's a pass rush specialist, and he can fly, number 39.
Yeah, he can. He leads the Big 12 with 6 quarterback sacks. He doesn't get one here because Meyer generates some yards. But watch him coming off the edge. And here he comes. I mean, he runs like a running back, and he tries to tomahawk chop and strip that football out of there. Pretty good job by Meyer to secure it. But, you know, great defenses rally and run to the football. And Missouri's #1 in the Big 12 defensively, and they are rallying and running to the ball well today.
And Boga back at his 10, Tim Rayer to punt.
Oh.
And it's going to get in the end zone barely. So they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line.
With that touchdown run by Marcus Woods, everybody on the Missouri team breathing a sigh of relief. It ended a streak of 6+ quarters without a touchdown. Now let's see if that eases the pressure.
Damian Nash. A physical 5-yard run as he lowers his shoulder against Maurice Porter.
Well, an adjustment that Missouri has made, Drew. For the second time, they took a wide receiver, motioned him inside to crack and go to the outside. Instead of running inside where they're overloading the box with safeties, they're saying, okay, we're going to seal you with our receiver and tight end cracking, and we're going to go to the outside. And running back, you run over that cornerback in run support. There's one guy that's unblocked, make a miss. Usually, safeties are better tacklers than cornerbacks. So run to the outside and make the unblocked corner make a play.
Edmonds is coming again. Smith gets it away, and it is complete. Boga makes the catch at the 37-yard line.
Edmonds is complaining he got held to the official, and I agree with him.
He did get held.
Yeah, Missouri grabbed him and held on, and no call on that play. And, you know, it's not holding unless you get caught. There was a high-risk move by Tony Klinker at that left tackle position. Meyer there checking his neck. And he must have a little whiplash after one of those hits. Sometimes it's the second hit you get hit, and when you hit the turf so hard, that second hit is the one that really knocks you around.
Nash got a good lead block. Leading up in the hole was Tyler Llewellyn, another one of those young linemen who's in the rotation. He's a redshirt freshman from Bethany, Missouri.
Yeah, he tripped over his feet, and it was the old counter play. They brought the pulled the backside lineman, and Nash just couldn't get his feet up over the big Llewellyn's foot.
And if you're in the secondary for Kansas State, you're saying, well, where's the running back? You couldn't even see him.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Sproles. He's got offensive linemen 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". He's 5'6" on a good day. He hides.
Smith throws it in the flat, 3 or 4 yard, actually about a yard. Let me correct myself. Right around the line of scrimmage. Boga made the catch, and Porter in there right now for Cedric Williams. And you wonder, Dave, if Cedric Williams is going to be back. He was nursing a leg injury and was hoping to go, and he started.
Well, he's out there, Drew. He's at the top. Yeah, they got Williams and Porter in there. They said Porter's coming on strong, and if Williams couldn't go, Porter would go for him. They like the way Porter's playing. He's in there instead of Rose at the other corner. They put Cedric Williams here, Porter down here.
3rd and 7. 5 Wildcats on the pass rush, and that throw never got near Coffey, and Coffey was open. One of those back foot jobs, and Missouri will have to punt it to K-State. A lot of similarities between these two schools coming into the season. Both schools in the top 20. Some polls had them in the top 15. Saw one poll had Missouri in the preseason 11 and Kansas State 12, both with Heisman candidates, Brad Smith and Darren Sproles, and it hasn't worked out as many would have figured. But the good news is everything's still in front of Missouri and Kansas State. They can still win the North Division.
You saw the punt team huddling up until the last second, making sure they had their blocking responsibilities figured out. That's what cost them against Nebraska.
Here's Jamon Figures trying to get to the wall. He won't. Wendy's High School Heisman program recognizes today's scholar athletes and citizens. Packets have been mailed to over 26,000 public and private high schools. Online nominations being accepted as well. So go to www.wendyshighschoolheisman.com. Do it today to nominate your Heisman hopeful of tomorrow. You know, back, I remember watching you play in the Boston area, Dave, growing up, and I put you on the Lombardi watch list when you were in 7th grade. Whatever came of that?
I never made it off that list. You know, I never made it past that nomination.
I appreciate you thinking of me. I was looking out for you back then.
You weren't even born then, I don't think.
No, actually I wasn't. Here's Meyer with time. Still looking for his first completion. That is a throwaway, and you know, it wasn't even a pretty throwaway. Meyer's a little frazzled right now. It'll be 2nd and 10 with 1:24 to go in the first quarter. The first down line is brought to you by Overstock.com. Visit Overstock.com today and start saving. It's all about the O.
Well, this Missouri defense, number 9 in the nation overall, number 3 against the pass. Right now, they're doing a great job of confusing Dylan Meyer. Watch him move around up here. You know, they're giving him one look, and then they're moving out of it. See, they start to move, and as he sets the defense, he's making it tough.
And now Meyer just throws it to Sproles in desperation. And Sproles gets something positive out of what would have been a disaster. He gets about 3 yards. He was tackled by Zach Ville.
Here comes the pressure. Watch him come. It's a blood cross. Linebackers crisscross up front. Darren Sproles doesn't pick up either one of them. And as a result, he turns himself into a target. It wasn't designed that way, but since he didn't block well enough, he said, I'll give you some place to dump the football. And improvisational abilities of Meyer kept it from being a loss.
K-State 0 for 4 on 3rd down. They're looking at 3rd and 9. Sherdania Mitchell, cornerback, looked like he was going to come. He backs off. Meyer's got all day, and he still can't find anybody. I mean, you know what? They gave him time, Dave. He had 5 seconds, and that secondary locked up the K-State receivers.
Yeah, they did. They dropped 6 into coverage, and K-State only had 3 receivers out there, and there was nowhere to go with the football. And Bill Snyder shaking his head right now. Matt Eberflus, the defensive coordinator from Missouri, has a great game plan going. There's confusion at the line of scrimmage, offensive line and protections, and at the quarterback position trying to call the right play.
Rayer gets off a great punt. Mboga calls for a fair catch at the 27-yard line, staring right up into that sun. 18 ticks left in the opening quarter. 7-0 Mizzou. Let's get it downstairs again to Jim Knox.
All right, Drew, I'll tell you what, Dylan Myers really taking a beating. Rushed hard the last 3 plays on the ground, slow getting up. He's now developing a little gimp in his right leg. You may recall the last time he came out, a little whiplash from being tackled from behind. It's going to be interesting to see he finishes this ball game. Offensive line doing a nice job protection, but the Missouri defensive line getting to him today, guys.
Yeah, they sure are, Knox. He's taking his shots, and he had an injury to his shoulder early in the season, too.
Hey Knox, he's got a fan club. You know, that fan club's grown over the years.
Oh, no question.
He was initially, talking about 10 or 12 people. Now, Dave, it's up to like 14 or 15. Knoxy, we only kid you because we love you. Smith throws, and that was nearly intercepted. Good break back on the football by Maurice Porter. He had to feather it a little bit, get it over the linebacker level.
Porter doing a nice job. Make a good job of route recognition there, and then making that break on the football. Another junior college player that Bill Snyder has been so successful bringing into the program at Kansas State.
And it's just so odd to see K-State 3-5 early in November. And Bill Snyder said, you know what? Our talent level is much better than our record.
Right. Right. They're coming off a conference championship last year for the first time since 1934. What an accomplishment.
Smith looking for running room, and K-State will close it down rather quickly. Berry was there, along with a host of others, in advance of 3 or 4. They'll head to the other end of the field. That's the end of the first quarter. Missouri leading 7-0. You're watching College Football Saturday on FSN. The Dr. Pepper Big 12 Game of the Week from Columbia, Missouri. And out of bounds is Porter at the 22-yard line. So he was close the last time. And this time he comes up with the INT. And for Porter, his 2nd pick of the year, the junior from San Francisco.
And for Missouri, it's their 3rd giveaway of the game. And we're just early stages of the 2nd quarter. And Smith just absolutely throws it right into coverage. There's no way he couldn't have seen Porter, but I guess he didn't.
He eyeballed him the whole way.
Man, he did. Porter just read his eyes and took him right to the football.
And Dave, they're -3 in the game, and they have the lead. This is the 2nd short field for Kansas State, and Alan Webb is in at quarterback. So Dylan Meyer is out. Alan Webb is in there. The sophomore from Denver, and he
hits the fullback.
Hit the fullback. Ball's loose. Missouri's on it.
How about this?
K-State hands it right back. C.J. Mosley covered it. This game's been a little wacky in terms of turnovers. 4 already.
It looked like Victor Mann. He hit Victor Mann with the pitch. Or the fullback right here. Watch the fullback.
That's Saba.
That's Saba. And the pitch hits Saba right in the head. And Saba's like, what was that? I felt something. Oh, it's the ball. He's trying to make a play on the football, but Missouri's there. Look at all the bodies Missouri has defensively around the football. You talk about sudden change. They had it at the Missouri gets one on one fumble. Cissé's fumble at the 20-yard line. They get nothing out of it. This one, they get it to the 22-yard line. The defense gets the ball right back. That's excellence in sudden change by Missouri's defense. They're playing well today.
Kansas State, they were at the Gatorade jar a few moments ago, and they're back on the field. They had to spill the Gatorade and get back with the helmets on.
That was the 16th play of the game for Kansas State. They generated 15 yards. They lost yards on, well, the fumble, obviously, to change of possession there. Missouri, 23 snaps for 145 yards. The interception was on that 23rd snap. But this Missouri defense, you're holding teams to a yard of play. And for a bunch of snaps against Nebraska, they had a 45-snap sequence against Nebraska where Nebraska had 51 yards, 1.1 yards of play. Missouri's defense is on fire.
And it really has been very consistent throughout the year. And now Brad Smith will call timeout on 2nd down and 6. They can get the offense rolling as they did a year ago under Brad Smith here in November. This could be a special team yet. Get it to about the 30-yard line, perhaps the 31, setting up 3rd down and 4.
You know, Drew, back-to-back turnovers is a phenomenon, and Brad Smith just stares down the receiver. Porter says, "I'll take it, thank you." Jumps in front. Brad Smith thrown into double coverage. Then off Asaba's helmet, boom, ball on the ground. Missouri comes up with it. And look at all of them running to the football. I mean, rallying and running for the ball. You have a short field at the 22-yard line after the interception. You give it right back. Incredible.
Smith's going to run it on 3rd down, and he's going to have a 1st down. And then he lowers his pad level and has 1st down out to the 39-yard line. Well, for a Dr. Pepper game break, let's check in again with Bill Jones.
All right, Drew and Dave, an update from South Carolina. The Gamecocks and Razorbacks go back and forth. South Carolina's Dacus Turner finds the end zone to tie this one up at 14, still early in the 2nd. Back to you, Drew.
Tell you what, Bill, don't count Lou Holtz out, you know. Lou Holtz is
saying that for about 40 years.
Yeah, that's a coaching machine there now.
2 to the near side, 1 to the top. That's Sean Coffey in motion. Play action. And Smith's going to have to unload. He was outside the tackle box, so it's not intentional grounding.
Well, what Coffey did there, he went in motion like he was going to crack back block like he's done so well on the perimeter running, and he faked the crack back and then took it up the football field. But Kansas State not fooled at all. Great recognition of the play and the ploy of the play. And tremendous coverage. Nowhere for Smith to go with the football.
You know, the interesting thing is Kansas State defensively wanted to make Smith one-dimensional, and the one dimension they would allow is him throwing the football. He hasn't thrown it well.
He's been running a little bit.
He's been running it.
Right.
Not much doing on 2nd down. Woods is dropped right around the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and 10. Cedric Williams made the tackle, the senior corner from West Riviera Beach in Florida.
Drew, I think Dave Christensen, Gary Pinkel, and the offensive staff deserve a tip of the cap because they have made an adjustment in their running game. They're cracking back. They're putting tight ends in motion and outmanning the defense at the point of attack, cracking with wide receivers, attacking the perimeter of the defense in the running game. Not up the middle where the safeties are, attacking the corners. Nice adjustment by formation, blocking pattern, and attack.
Coffey and Mboga to the near side on 3rd and a long 9. K-State brings 4. Edmonds nearly got there. Now Smith on the run, throwing it deep. He's got a man. This is going to end up in the end zone. Sean Coffey, touchdown, no flags. That's what Brad Smith brings to Saturday afternoons. A would-be sack instead a long touchdown pass.
And it's a record. He now is the career touchdown pass leader in Missouri history, just past Jeff Handy. And it's good to me that it happens on a play like that where he shows his improvisational, creative skills. The play breaks down a little bit, and that's when Smith is at his most dangerous. Coffey fighting down the football field with Porter a little bit. Coffey overpowers him, separates, and scores.
Joe Tannerelli makes it 14-0 Missouri. Sean Coffey getting in the end zone for the 7th time this year. But Brad Smith made it happen. Tigers up a couple of scores at home in Columbia. About the O. Well, on a splendid day in Columbia, Missouri, The Kansas State Wildcats are down a couple of touchdowns to Sean Coffey in Missouri. And this ball's kicked along the ground. And handling it is Victor Mann. And he'll get it out to the 34-yard line. Mann can't get it as a fullback. The only time he's going to get it is in the kick return game on a squib.
That's right. Let's take a look at Coffey and Porter right here. Just a little left arm, strength separation. Porter can't find the football. Coffey knows exactly where the ball is. Porter's disputing, arguing about the fact that you see him react to the official. He felt Coffey pushing. This is just athletic ability. I mean, for Brad Smith to get up and to throw on the run to his left, square his shoulder pads up and just touch pass it like he did. Phenomenal play by the quarterback. An excellent play by Coffey at wide receiver equals touchdown for the Missouri Tigers.
Well, Dylan Meyer is back in there. Alan Webb got one snap, and he had his fullback on the option pitch. And Bill Snyder, at least for the time being, said that's enough. They're having problems today at the trigger position. Meyer changes the play. He steps up and throws complete. And he's got his big tight end for the first time, Brian Casey, with his 18th catch of the year.
And big is a good description. Casey is a gargantuan tight end, 6'7", 270 pounds. Watch the crisscrossing, the stunting going on. Tackle end stunts, picked up well by Kansas State. There's a throwing lane for Dylan Meyer. And he's got a big target, 6'7" tight end to get it to.
7 yards on the advance. Herrera can't hear the play at the top of the screen. Oh, and it's messed up. They wanted to go draw to Sproles. He evidently never got it. And Meyer eats the football. He loses two.
Yeah, that was total miscommunication going on there. Sproles is thinking one thing, and Meyer's saying, no, I wanted you to take the handoff for the draw. And that goes as a tackle for loss for Jackson. Not a sack because it wasn't a throwing attempt.
3rd and 5. And again, Meyer trying to communicate in a hostile environment.
Missouri converting over 50% of the time on 3rd down. Kansas State 0 for 5. On the season, Missouri allowing 25% conversion on 3rd down.
They didn't get it snapped. It's a delay of game.
They are in Dylan Meyer's head, showing him all different kinds of looks. He's trying to get into the right play at the line of scrimmage. He doesn't have time to get it done.
Snap, delay a game by the offense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
The deal is Kansas State comes to the line of scrimmage, the quarterback sets the defense. Missouri is not allowing Dylan Meyer to set the defense. They're lining up, then they're moving. And that changes all the communication between quarterback, offensive linemen to each other in protections. Missouri's playing with them. They're lining up and doing different things up front with all these guys, moving them around. Look at them bobbing and weaving, moving them around, different gaps, dropping out of there, not giving them a read.
Missouri brings 5. Flag comes in. Sproles can't bring it in. The pressure was coming again from Xavier Jackson.
I don't know if they're going to call holding here. And they are holding on Kansas State.
Missouri has completely befuddled Dylan Meyer and Bill Snyder's offense. They might as well be in their huddle.
Holding
they're in their head.
On the offense, number 66. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
And holding is the big right tackle, Clary. Watch him right here. Watch him operate. He starts out okay. He's in good position. Now he gets the hand outside, right there, and sumo wrestles him to the ground. You know, as long as the hand's inside the framework of the body, that's legal. But he's got his hand outside.
Short return by Mboga to the 36-yard line. 14-0 Missouri, despite 3 turnovers.
Yeah, they're -2 on the day in the turnover department, but +2 on the day on touchdowns. Great blocking and just taken advantage of by Woods. Here's a great athletic play by a talented quarterback, rolling to his left, just flicks the ball down the field to his 6'5", 220-pound wide receiver Coffey, who overpowered Porter. Porter never found the ball. Coffey just one slight little push with that big, strong left arm. Got the separation.
I'll tell you what, this is a dangerous spot in the game for Kansas State. They are on the brink of finding themselves in an enormous hole. That defense has to come up large here. 3-step drop for Smith. He wasn't there. Now he'll scramble. And it's incomplete. Brad Ekwu couldn't hold on. Second and 10.
Drew, the 2 touchdowns are examples of big plays that Missouri is looking for. They're looking for 15 a game, and by big plays they want 10-yard or more runs, 15-yard or more completions. And the touchdowns, it was both, and they got a run of over 10 yards in the touchdown, and a completion of much more than 15 yards. 2 big plays for their 2 touchdowns. That's a sight for sore eyes for an offense that is struggling.
They'll hand the football to Nash. They're going to run it up the middle for about 3 yards. And getting up last, Brandon Archer, number 46. Archer's a good-looking football player, leading Kansas State in stops. They have so many players in the NFL, particularly on the defensive side of the ball after the last few years. Do they run as well, Dave, to you as they have over the last 10 years?
I don't think they're as athletic in their front 7, Drew, as they have been in years past. And they don't have that lockdown corner like, they've had in the past. The most recent one being Terrence Newman. You go back a few years prior to that, Chris Canty.
3rd down. Smith will tuck it up. And Smith will have a first down on that move. Flip side of the 50 to the 44-yard line of Kansas State. Brad Smith is playing like he did most of his freshman and sophomore years right now.
He is, and they got the field spread. And once the field is spread, now you're in trouble. You semi-roll him, he sees a lane. In the open field, he's going to make you miss. You take your shot at him, and he's so graceful. I mean, he glides. You don't realize how fast he's moving. He's one of those athletes that is so fluid in the open field.
6'2" and 210 pounds. Hand it to Nash. He has a little seam to the 40-yard line. Making the tackle, Maurice Mack, the free safety. And let's again check in with Jim Knox.
All right, Drew, Missouri Tiger fans, they're all pumped up. I tell you what, college football fans, don't forget you can email us throughout tonight's game, and we will answer those emails sometime in the second half. FoxSports.com on FSN, keyword ask not. FoxSports.com on FSN, keyword is. They got it down, Drew. They got it down.
A little Knox of knowledge for everybody right there.
There you go. They dump it, and it'll be a first down to Nash. He's to the 31-yard line. And move the sticks again for Missouri.
I think with that completion, I think that gives him more than 122 yards passing on the day, and that gives him over 6,000 for his career. If he rushes for 130 yards today, Brad Smith would have 6,000 rushing, or 6,000 passing, 3,000 rushing. And pretty good job by the offensive line of not allowing Kansas State to penetrate at all, giving Brad Smith a little area and vision to throw it underneath. But 6,000 passing, 3,000 rushing, which he's on the verge of, has not been accomplished by many.
It's incredible, and he still has a year and a half basically to go. 2 tight ends on this play. Smith looking end zone. He's got his man again. Coffee. Touchdown. A flag came in. So we'll see if it's on Coffee or if it's on Williams, the cover man.
I think it's defensive pass interference. It'll be declined.
Now Tom Ollers asking now for a clarification. Cedric Williams had the coverage.
Declined touchdown, I believe.
Pass interference on the defense. A penalty is declined. Touchdown.
He's a big man, Dave, to try to cover if you're a DB.
He is. He's got that size that you're looking for. 8 touchdowns now on the season. He was 3rd in the Big 12 coming into today's game with 6. Down the field, now you're in trouble. A little contact by Williams prior to the arrival of the football. I think fairly ticky-tack. It didn't affect the play. Coffee still caught it for the touch.
Zanarelli makes it 21-0 Missouri. Nice bounce-back game for Sean Coffee. Had a couple of drops last week against Nebraska. All Mizzou in Columbia. in 8.5 ball games. Heady stuff. And again, they kick it along the ground and busting through a couple of tacklers. His big Victor Mann, 255-pounder from Fort Worth, Texas.
Good game, Oklahoma at A&M.
A&M's got a little payback on their mind, I'm sure. Meyer scrambling again, and he finds Casey. And that's the best offensive play of the afternoon thus far for Kansas State, to the 36-yard line of Missouri. David Overstreet made the tackle on big Brian Casey.
The trouble they've had in past years is keeping Casey healthy at this stage of the season. And he is healthy, and here he comes. You can't miss him. 6'7", 270-plus pounds, and he's wide open. He looks like the Eiffel Tower down there. And that's a vision that you like to see when you're struggling at quarterback.
The well-traveled Dave Lapham. I thought you were going to take the Arc de Triomphe, but you know, the Eiffel Tower more appropriate. You're right.
A little height to it.
Rolls. And he keeps his feet to the 27-yard line. Missouri's been so dominant in this game. I mean, we haven't talked about Darren Sproles since the open of the show.
No question about it. And this, you know, the thing, when I think of Darren Sproles and what he can do, try to find him. You know, where is he? Oh, there he is. I mean, 5'6", I think, and put together, very, very strong. But low center of gravity, doesn't take a flush hit, hides behind those offensive linemen. And he is an all-purpose machine, yards in all phases.
He's got Saba in front of him. And Meyer will change the play again. Now they'll go offset. They got to get it snapped. They just do. Here's the option. Meyer will keep. And Kinney running inside out, dives at his legs, and he'll get credit for the tackle. But it's a first down to the 23-yard line. Kansas State has gone to 11 consecutive bowl games. If they lose, you can forget about a postseason opportunity.
Right. It's case closed. They have to be perfect the rest of the season. They know that. And Missouri has lost to Nebraska, to Kansas State 11 straight times. Missouri broke the string against Nebraska last year. They're trying to break that losing string against Kansas State this season.
1st and 10. Offset eye.
Changing again.
Three-step drop, and on the backside it's complete. A 6-yard gain to Davin Dennis. Clock moving inside, 6 minutes to go in the second quarter. Do you know it's conceivable when we talk about the North Division? It's conceivable that all 6 schools finish at 3 and 5.
Yeah, 6-way tie for first or last or anything in between, whatever you want to talk about there.
Sproles. Oh, great looking move. Sproles sees end zone, and he's in for the Wildcats.
That's Darren Sproles' 45th touchdown, 42nd touchdown rushing. A virtual scoring machine.
This is a kid who was 5th in the Heisman Trophy race last year.
And Darren Sproles is so quick. When he gets on the edge, you're in trouble. Excellent downfield block once again, giving Darren Sproles an opportunity to get inside the pylon and score.
Joe Ream on to attempt the extra point. 21-7. And boy, did Kansas State ever need something positive to happen offensively. And they get it done. And they do it primarily on the ground with Darren Sproles taking it in. 21-7. 5:33 left in the first half in Columbia. Latha, Kansas. Shadanya Mitchell, the fastest Missouri Tiger. And he is spilled after getting it out above the 30-yard line.
Well, this is the old power play for the touchdown. Watch old Woolridge pull. He gets caught up, and then he gets a pancake block. Everybody blocks on the edge. Here comes Woolridge pulling from left guard. Once he bounces it outside, watch the pancake. Whoop, takedown. Now Sproles outruns people. Take poor angles. Excellent blocking down the field. Just ties up the safety long enough for Sproles to get inside the pylon. That was decent blocking up front. And then Sproles' ability to accelerate. He gets to full acceleration in 2 steps and outran the edge of the Missouri defense.
2 tights, Franklin in motion. Play action, now they'll waggle. And Smith comes to run. Man, he is special. In his sights, Jesse Tetuan, a great open field tackler, couldn't bring him down. For Dr. Pepper game break, let's go to Bill Jones.
Drew and Dave, all the attention this year is on Oklahoma true freshman Adrian Peterson, but the nation's leading rusher is North Texas true freshman Jamario Thomas. Last night, he became the first freshman in NCAA Division 1A history to post 5 200-yard games in one season. 27-17, North Texas won.
I did one of his ball games earlier this year against Colorado, and he got the emergency start. He hung 247 on Colorado in his first taste of college football. He is a special back. Damian Nash can be a special back. He has it to the 48-yard line of K-State. When we look at the NCAA's leading rushers, or leading all-purpose yardage, folks, Sproles on top, Dave.
Yep.
Cedric Benson.
Sproles is the man, and look at your man Thomas right there, North Texas, and Heisman Trophy candidate Bush from SC, over 170 yards a game. And Bush, of course, will be the Pac-10 game later tonight on FSN. But Sproles is special. Guy, you got to get him touches of the football, because when the ball is in Darren Sproles' hands, good things can happen.
Rucker goes in motion. Smith resets himself and fires over Coffey's head. He just threw that one away. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Well, it's I'm sure it's again a sight for sore eyes for the coaching staff, his teammates, fans, everybody, to see Brad Smith in the open field gliding and floating and making people miss. He looks so fluid and just totally cool and calm and poised out there. He's never in a frenzy. No, he just looks statuesque.
Body type wise, he reminds me of a guy you played against, Randall Cunningham.
Yeah, very similar.
Here's a QB draw, and Smith is tripped up after a couple of yards, getting a piece of him. It was Brandon Archer, and it was also Marvin Simmons.
A little counter action, Drew. He took a counter step. The right guard and right tackle pulled, and you run the counter with your running back. You can run quarterback draw, quarterback sweep, quarterback counter, quarterback power. You can run all your plays that you have in your running game with a quarterback the caliber of Brad Smith. And if you have a 2-back set, or a 1-back set, I should say, it's still 2 backs with Brad Smith back there. This is the shotgun. It's a 1-back set. That guy is a running back.
3rd and 7. He's a running back here. And backside pursuit's going to get him. Kansas State defended that well. Closing quickly was Tiarius George. And Missouri will have to punt the football. 4:09 with the clock moving. Left in the first half. 21-7, Missouri leading Bill Snyder's Kansas State Wildcats. Missouri trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Adam Crossett will punt. Do you think they worked on their punt protection a little bit this week?
Oh yeah, and this time they came right from the line of right from the sideline to the line of scrimmage. No huddle. So they're trying to get things squared away.
Yaman figures back at the 10-yard line. And he's going to step up and return this from the 12. You know what? He did fair catch it. He did the old fake.
Right.
You know what? He's saying he was shielding his eyes, the sun from his eyes.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what's interesting? I don't know when the whistle blew, but he was in the open field. Now, you don't know if everybody shut it down prior to that, but
Bill Snyder's saying that's exactly what he did. Bill Snyder's out in the field being as demonstrative as I've seen Bill Snyder, and the officials are saying you're going to have to leave the field, Bill. Get off the field.
But Bill's saying, look, he was shading his eyes. He was not waving, signaling
Delay
fair
of game
catch.
on the kicking team, 5 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Now, what you can't, you cannot wave your hand at all. If you put your hand up and wave it at all, it's a fair catch. And the official felt like he shaded his eyes, but then he waved it. I'll tell you,
what? Bill Snyder's. You know what? I agree with you. Bill Snyder's got a case. Hey, he didn't wave. He didn't wave. He didn't come close to waving.
He just pulled it down.
Yeah, he put the old hand over the forehead.
Yeah. He said he shaded and then pulled it down to his side, and that was it's basically called a delay of game. You can't signal fair catch, then catch it and start running, because as you said, Drew, people shut it down and cover it.
So from the 8-yard line, Meyer gives to Sproles. And he is dropped after about a yard gain. James Kinney there defensively for Missouri.
Now, was he shading his eyes or was he waving to make the fair catch? Hand goes up. The official right here is looking. And he lost track of the left arm. Shaded the eyes and then pulls the hand down.
You know what? From behind, Dave, you can see, you can understand from the official perspective why he thought it was a wave of the hand. Yep. In front, it was pretty clear he's shading his eyes. 2nd and 9. Meyer out of the gun. Blitz coming. They got him in trouble. And he gets it away. Figures was in the neighborhood, so there won't be a flag. C.J. Mosley, Brian Smith there again.
Dylan Myers woozy. He get up grabbing that face mask, and he's already had his neck being massaged for whiplashing. Watch the hit that he takes to the turf. Almost a face mask. Boom. That head bounces off the turf. That's how Troy Aikman got a lot of his concussions. It's not the contact, it's the second hit. First hit, watch the second one. Boom. Head bounces. That second hit off the turf is the one that causes all the noodle damage.
It's 3rd and 9, Dave. From this standpoint, punt's not the worst thing in the world if you're Kansas State.
Absolutely. You don't want to make a mistake here in the turnover variety.
They'll go with 2 tight ends. And Meyer's going to burn his last time out. Did he get it called? Because the snap went through the end zone. He did get it called. Tom Eilers has given Kansas State a timeout. Yep. That's how loud it is. The center, Mike Johnson, never heard it. Never heard the timeout call.
Prior to the snap. They have used their last timeout of this half.
That's why it's so tough to operate from the shotgun on the road, because the communication is so tough. Right now you can't hear anything. And he definitely signals timeout long before the ball is snapped. The official grants the timeout. Dylan Meyer has no idea Johnson snapped the football.
21-7 for a preview of what's to come at halftime. Let's check in again with Jim Knox. Jim.
Okay, Drew, the Missouri band getting ready for halftime, and so is Bill Jones in the game. Coming up on the Sonic America's Drive-In halftime report, Bill in the game will tell you a preview of the Texas A&M Oklahoma big matchup later this afternoon. Also scores and highlights of top 25 action. That's coming your way in the Sonic America's Drive-In halftime report. Guys, you guys ready, huh? Little drums, little cymbals, huh? Let's go. Come on.
He's a
you got to pick up the tempo, guys. Come on, let's go.
He's a conductor. He does it all.
Well, Noxie was a music major at LSU for a short time. Did you know that?
Yeah, multiple instruments.
Yeah, some guys
string, percussion, did it all.
Some guys are double majors. Noxie was a quadruple major. We'll get to the other 3 majors in a little bit. How about this, Dave? Now, Missouri loses to Nebraska. They hold them to 0 for 14 on 3rd down. Right. Kansas State today, 0 for 6. Think about it, the last 20 third downs that Missouri Tiger defense has faced, they've jogged off the field.
And jogging on the field in this 3rd and 9 is Allen Webb. They made a change at the quarterback position, and I think Coach Snyder saw Myers' head bounce off that turf, and probably when he came to the sideline, he may not have been communicating all that clearly, and Webb went in.
I guarantee you he's not going to throw it. I'd be surprised if he throws it here. I think he's going to run it out of the gun. Kinney shows blitz. Here he comes on a draw. And he's going to be close to a 1st down. He has it to the 20-yard line. That's the first successful 3rd down opportunity of the day for the Wildcats.
And Webb, he's one of 5 quarterbacks in NCAA season this year that has rushed for 130 yards or more and 3 touchdowns in the same game. And he shows you his athletic ability.
Watch the wiggle. A little twist by the defensive line, picked up well by Kansas State. And now make you miss. A little bit of a wiggle. This kid played wide receiver and quarterback in high school. He's a gifted athlete.
Chatfield High School, suburban Denver, Colorado. And this is a dart to Casey. He's across midfield to the 43-yard line. That was well thrown.
Sure was. That was a strike. And what Missouri's playing is cover 2. The safeties are vacating the middle of the field to help with the wide receivers. They are leaving the middle of the field wide open. And Webb made a great play just to recover to get the snap on the shotgun. And no safeties in the middle of the field. Cover 2, you got to go to your tight end. You beat cover 2 with the tight end down the middle, or your running back's running a wheel route down the middle. And Webb hit Casey big time. Yeah, that was a great reaction.
Yeah, he ran right up the hash mark. Now Webb's going to change the play. Communication so difficult when you're on the road. What a big call timeout. They don't have one.
Yeah.
He just called timeout. They don't have one.
Lost control, lost track of game management because he hasn't been on the field.
By the offense, 5 yards, still first down.
Fortunately,
and Myers going to come back in.
Fortunately, the clock expired before he called the timeout.
He watched Chris Webber growing up.
Meyer comes back in. He must have, maybe cleared his head a little bit. I think when he took that shot off the turf, he got up a little bit woozy.
I was woozy watching him. You made a great point there, especially on these new surfaces. And you played a lot, especially in Cincinnati, on the turf.
Please reset the time clock to 1:42. 1:42 on the clock.
There's cement, right? I mean, you're talking about a ½ an inch of pad and then cement.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's not giving. And when you hit that thing, particularly if you've got a 300-pound body taking you to the turf, and you ricochet off of that turf, it's not only the first hit, it's the compound deal of that second hit that gets you. Changing the play once again. And look at Missouri changing it after he changes. Adjustments to the adjustments.
Well, this is part of Eberflus's game plan, the defensive coordinator. Disguise and move late. And Myers got to throw it away. It'll be 2nd and 15. Alan Webb's got the helmet off, but he ignited Kansas State.
That third down quarterback run was big, backed up. Changing again. See what he does. He moved inside. Will he back out? Come back outside. Really just all kinds of different looks.
Safety blitz coming, and he nearly threw a pick on the sideline. King breaking on the football. Marcus King, the junior from Irving, Texas.
What Matt Eberflus is trying to do is disguise his coverage, like you said, Drew, and mix up his looks up front, mix the pressures, and make the quarterback make some bad decisions pre-snap. And they're doing an outstanding job of executing everything that he's looking to get done. Outstanding job. And they have Kansas State on their heels right now.
Dylan Meyer had 332 yards of total offense against Texas Tech. He doesn't have much this afternoon. He needs 15 here on 3rd down. And he had a man. He just fired it right over the head of Dennis. Dennis would have been short of the 1st down, but he might have had room to move down the football field farther. So it'll be 4th down. And with 1:07 to go before halftime, Kansas State will punt it.
Right, because if they don't convert the 4th down, it's good field position for Missouri. And with 1 minute and 7 seconds to go, they could move the football and get themselves in scoring position. So got to punt it away.
Tim Rayer's done a nice job today.
Missouri has 2 timeouts. Kansas State has none.
And Boga calls a fair catch, and he makes it at about the 14-yard line.
Well, you got some pretty good Heisman hopefuls that have teammates that are Heisman hopefuls, and what will that do to the voters?
Yeah, Jason White, 20 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions, and You know, people forget, well, because he won it last year, he's not going to win. He's put up great numbers again.
And last year he had 40 touchdowns and only 10 interceptions. So here's a guy, you know, 60 touchdowns, 14 interceptions over a 2-year time frame. That's incredible.
I think I know where you stand on this. In terms of the freshman, I have no problem. If he's the best football player in America, hand him the trophy.
Right. But he has to be the, and you know, you can argue that without Adrian Peterson, they would have lost the biggest game of the year. He rushed for over 200 yards against Texas and was the difference in that football game. Without him, they lose that football game because Greg Robinson, the new defensive coordinator, was taking away all the passing at Jason White in that game. They had to run it to win.
Halftime in Columbia, 21-7 Missouri. Gary Pinkel's team is on top, and he is down with Jim Knox. Knoxy.
Coach, take away a couple of those turnovers early. You got to be pleased on both sides of the football right now.
I think we're playing pretty good. We have some our kickoff problems are giving us bad field position. You know, our defense has went and made some stops in some critical situations. We're scoring some points, but you know, we're work out of this thing. It's going to be, as we all know, it's going to be a tough second half.
In the second half too, keep in mind a couple of weeks ago against Oklahoma State, they came from 17 points down. Will you remind your team at halftime about that?
You know what? Until you said that, I remember that. So that's probably a pretty good idea. Thanks.
Knoxy, Gary Pinkel's just off your Christmas list, isn't he? Let's join Bill Jones and Brian Jones in our College Football Saturday studio.
Something.
Yards on minimal touches, and he does have that touchdown run, but they have done a good job of containing Sproles. Missouri defense has been outstanding.
3rd and 11. Webb tucks it down, and he's going to come up a couple of yards short. Needed to get to the 43-yard line, dropped at the 41. And here's what Sproles has done this year. He broke his own rushing record against Louisiana Lafayette.
But look, at only one game has he had over 100 yards rushing in the Big 12, that against Nebraska. He's had big games against Nebraska every time in his career. But it's been tough sledding, uphill climb for him in the Big 12.
Boga, I think, misjudged it.
Yep.
In fact, I know he misjudged it. And Kansas State will down it at the 11-yard line. 21-7 Missouri. Brad Smith in the first half was 10 of 20 throwing the football. He did throw a pick, but he hit Sean Coffey twice for touchdowns. And he also carried it 8 times for 62 yards.
Pretty efficient half for Brad Smith. And he has been the straw that stirs the offensive drink for Missouri, which is the role that he's accustomed to. And the other thing, look at the numbers for Brad Smith. Very productive. A lot of quarterbacks take that for a game, never mind a half. But with Brad Smith and Darren Sproles, get to after this play.
3 or 4 for Marcus Woods. Right now, let's get a Dr. Pepper game break and check in again with Bill Jones.
All right, Drew, great one going on in South Carolina. Arkansas protecting a 17-14 lead in the 3rd, but it's freshman Peyton Hillis coughing up the ball. Matt Jones, the quarterback, can't come up with it. Who's got it? Well, the freshman Coe Simpson has it, and he goes 58 yards the other way. South Carolina takes a 21-17 lead on Arkansas. Back to you.
That's a wild game. And in and out of the hands. Pretty good throw around. That's Martin Rucker, tight end who can run, get downfield.
Younger brother of Mike Rucker, who is the rush end at Nebraska, now successful career in the National Football League, the Carolina Panthers. And that's just he throws the ball so easily. Got the left hand on it, couldn't get the right hand up. Trying to use the right hand to get a little separation with the defender. Got the left hand on it, not corral it. He was working on touch one and couldn't come up with the ball.
3rd down and 8. Simmons bluffs a blitz. And now the throw is complete. 1st down yardage. And the tackle broken by Ekwu.
Cedric Williams missed the tackle on the sideline, and Williams is still down. And he's rolling off the field in front of the Kansas State bench at the 22-yard line, and he's struggling. You miss a tackle. He's grabbing that left hamstring a little bit now. He's had
He's got a little bit of a problem going on, but you miss a tackle and it usually results in a lot of yards after catch. And Williams is there, gambles a little bit, loses his footing. Now pivot back inside, tremendous yards after catch because Williams couldn't keep his feet.
Now he could throw this, and it's a throw back towards Smith.
Oh.
The tackle's broken. Smith's on the sideline, one man to beat. To the 20-yard line, Maurice Porter made the shoestring tackle.
And Scott Edmonds was there. Brad Smith pushed him aside, gave him a nice stiff arm. And that's a big defensive lineman. It's a defensive end that he kind of stiff arms away from there. Here's the formation, pass, and then watch Brad Smith work his way back to the other side of the field. Backward pass. Now they lose track of Brad Smith. They set up a screen the other way. Good block right here. Watch him make Edmonds miss. Edmonds misses. Now he's off to the races in the open field. Boy, he is something special when he gets space.
So he's run it, he's thrown it, and now he's caught it. Rucker in motion. Here comes Woods. Simmons grabs him around his ankles. A 4-yard advance to the 15.
You know, Brad Smith, you have to sell this. Now he just kind of like hangs around looking, okay, now I'm going to get myself open a little bit. Now do something after the catch. Nice little stiff arm with the right arm. Puts the ball into that right arm and gets every potential yard he can. Red zone opportunity for the first time in this game for Missouri. On the season, they're converting 58% of the time touchdown in the red zone.
Boga made a pretty good throw. Smith, quarterback counter. And Brett Jones is going to drop him around the line of scrimmage. Third down.
You know, the thing I was getting to a few plays back about Brad Smith and Darren Sproles, you're very fortunate as a coach when your best player is your best person as well. I mean, now you've got it made. Your best player is the example that everybody aspires to be in terms of a person. These guys were All-American people long before they were All-American candidates. Darren Sproles, there's not a better guy in the world than him. And Brad Smith's the same way. And that is very, very good situation for a coaching staff.
Very humble. And they've been that way since day one. Smith faked the run, now wants to throw it, and that's a smart play. He's going to unload it, save the field position. And they'll have a field goal attempt upcoming of approximately 32 yards. Let's check in with Jim Knox. Knoxy?
Hey guys, Cedric Williams was down on the ground just a little while ago. They were stretching out his left hamstring. He's now back on the bench. So it's his left hamstring, whether it's cramps or it's a strain, yet to be determined.
And he was injured at the end of last week's game, Knoxy, against Texas Tech, and questionable how much he'd be able to go today. So looks like he's aggravated it.
Tannerelli winded his back 33 yards away, and it's off the goal post. No good.
I think you should get points for that.
Was he
if you hit a goal post, you know.
Maybe in Canada they give you different kinds of
what is it?
point values for.
Well, that's unfortunate, and that's been an error. They're 9 for 14 on the season before that kick. 9 for 15 now. And they 3 for 5 from 30 to 39 yards, 1 for 4 from 40 to 49. So kicking inconsistency.
Yeah, and that you know what, Dave, you're absolutely right. At this level of college football, 33 yards away, not to get on Joe Tannerelli, but 33 yards away, down the middle. Ball wasn't from the hash. You got to have that one.
Now he's 3 for 6 on the year from that distance. You got to convert better than half the time.
Toss sweep, Sproles. He gets the shoulder square, north and south for 6 yards. Let me ask you something. All day in Missouri, Coach Eberflus done a great job in terms of disguising their fronts. And you've seen all afternoon Dylan Meyer have to change the play at the line of scrimmage. Now Allen Webb. At some point, don't you say get up to the line of scrimmage and run it?
Yeah, I'd say call it and run it and get up there on a quick count. You know, don't even let Missouri get set. If they're going to be moving around so much, get up there, go on a quick count and run some plays and see if that'll anchor them.
And they go toss sweep this direction. Oh, what a move by Sproles.
Wow.
How'd he come out of that pattern? Darren Sproles heading to the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas State. A run of 75 yards. Here come the Wildcats, and on that run, he went over 1,000 yards.
For the third time in his career, the first time in Kansas State history, a running back has gone for 1,000 or more 3 straight years. And did you see the speed of Figures? He was a one-man escort for Sproles. He caught up to Sproles and just kind of escorted him in the end zone. Figures can fly.
He's an F-16.
Whew. Because when Sproles can, when he busts it, people don't usually catch him from behind. And all the problems Kansas State has had, look at him, within a conversion of being 1 score away.
Well, that's what Sproles brings to the table. Yep. He's a home run hitter. And Kansas State is right back in this football game, courtesy of their All-American Darren Sproles. 5'7", 180-pound senior from Olathe, Kansas, and that was a special run.
Look at those feet. Look at those feet. Quick. Man.
Get it out to the 26-yard line. You want to talk about violent cuts?
Yeah. This is a guy, ACLs would be strewn if I tried to do this, but watch the pursuit here and watch them over pursue. This is what Sproles gets him going. Sproles going to get him running. Then he's going to cut on a dime, slam on the brakes, and boop. Look at the cut off that right foot. Boom. Cuts back. Now there's the lane. And if you over pursue against Darren Sproles, now you're chasing him. You see the back of the jersey 43, not the front of the jersey 43 anymore. That's some speed right there, escorting too.
It Figures running sideways, running about a 4.4 sideways.
Amazing. And look at Darren Sproles, 3 years in a row over this last year, almost 2,000 yards.
Smith's in trouble. It's Edmonds again. And he's so strong, Dave, he was able to save the sack yardage.
Edmonds has been a thorn in the Missouri side all game long. Klinker's struggling, trying to control him. And Edmonds is just, he's been getting off the ball, great first step, and he has been shrinking the backside. Just a tight corner to the quarterback with regularity. He has had one effective game.
Scott Edmonds is a junior. You know where he's from? He's from Rockhurst High School. It's big power in the Kansas City, Missouri area. And there's 8 kids on the combined rosters of these 2 schools from Rockhurst High School.
Oh,
naked. And Smith, if he stays in bounds, it'd still be running.
Boy.
Forced out after picking up about 15 yards. Thurman just did get enough for him to get him out of bounds.
Watch him hide this ball, Drew. That's a good job of selling it right there by back and quarterback. Prestidigitation right there. Sleight of hand. I still have it. Thurman runs decently because Smith, I thought, was going to blow that angle up in the pursuit that he had. But great call and great execution, as said call, with ball handling.
77 yards on 10 carries for Brad Smith.
If he gets 53 more yards, he's got 3,000 rushing with his 6,000 passing.
Nash. And he gashes that K-State defense for 7 yards. Tiarius George makes the tackle. Let's get an update on the touchdown maker, Darren Sproles, from Jim Knox.
Hey, Drew and Dave, a little something about that 70-plus touchdown run. After that, Darren Sproles was not even winded. Now, I talked to him before the game. I asked him, who do you like running the football? He said he likes watching LaDainian Tomlinson of the San Diego Chargers. And I asked him, you got some powerful legs. How much do you squat? He said 853 pounds. Guys, it's like tackling a fire hydrant out there.
Oh, man, he doesn't give you any hitting surface, I'll tell you.
Nash has to get down. Kansas State had a lot of people around the football, led by 45 Ted Sims.
Let's take a look at his touchdown run again from his backside and watch the cuts that he makes. It's like a skier doing the slalom. And watch him get in the edge of his skis and instead of kicking up snow, watch him kick up rubber particular right there. Boom, boom. Look at it. Look at it. Kick up. That's a violent cut right there to be able to make. And now he's gone. He finds a little seam and then he reaccelerates. He's at full speed in 2 steps again. And he's off to the races. But to be able to make the cut that he made and have his ankles and knees hold up, man, Shevitz.
3rd down. Smith, good hands to come up with the football out of the shotgun. And he's got it complete, but short of the 1st down. Mboga makes the catch. Brett Jones the tackle. And it's going to be 4th down and 2 from the 50.
You know who Sproles reminds me of? And as I watched that and how low his butt was to the ground when he made those cuts, Dante Hall. When you see Dante Hall return kicks, he's got that ability to get on the edge of his skis too, you know, and make those cuts. And his butt's about 6 inches off the ground. That's how Sproles is. He's so short and compact anyway, low center of gravity, and they can make those cuts. It's incredible.
I thought the Missouri defense at the point of attack actually did a good job. They had a lot of hats to the ball.
They did. The linebackers over pursued it just a little bit, and once he saw the backside linebacker wash over the top, he slammed the brakes on and cut it back. Big play.
Not a lot of players can make the play that Darren Sproles made, the cut that Darren Sproles made to find himself all alone in the secondary. Oh, we have a clock problem right now.
Yeah, play clock expired. Play clock expired. It's a delay.
By the offense.
Okay, that's
5 yards. Still 4th down.
And that's not really that big a deal. Giving yourself a better angle to very few kickers anymore directional kick, because there's a margin for error. If you miss it, you know, you really shank it. A lot of them like to kick it high up, right up the chute, right up the elevator shaft, right down the middle of the field inside the 20, make them fair catch.
Let him cross it with Yamon Figures back deep.
Too much. Way too much.
Right, so you know what? That's like where you take out the 9-iron or the wedge. You have to check the wind also.
Right.
Don't just look at the distance. Check the wind.
Right.
Some wind at his back. Crossed it, hammered it in the end zone. There's a flag down.
Now it depends if they're calling some sort of a hold. Was it prior? And it is a hold. Was it prior to the ball airborne or post ball airborne? That's a big difference.
Yeah, one's an automatic first down.
Absolutely, and that's what they're discussing now. When did the hold take place? After the ball left punter's foot or not? Gary Pinkel, Bill Snyder intently awaiting the announcement.
This is a huge call if it's an automatic first down.
Holding on the receiving team, 10 yards from the basic spot. 1st and 10 on the 10.
So it was post kick.
Post kick,
which is if it's the less of two evils for Gary Pinkel and the Missouri Tigers.
21-14 Mizzou. Back in a moment. That's always a good idea. And he'll get 6 yards before Nino Williams knocked him off his feet.
Williams with the tackle for the Tigers.
The first down line is brought to you by Overstock.com. Save up to 70% every day. It's all about the O. Now you can tell Kansas State really all over the place offensively, to be fair. In the first half, they have newfound confidence. Alan Webb under center and Darren Sproles doing his thing.
And I think with Alan Webb, he does not have as good an understanding of the offense as Dylan Meyer. I think they are calling it and running it more.
Webb, a transfer from Indiana. Here's the quarterback draw. He makes people miss. And then Kenny gets him. Some equipment went flying.
Yeah.
Is that
somebody blow a tire?
Oh,
yeah, somebody blew a tread.
I thought that might have been an ear pierce.
That's Webb. He's got to make a pit stop. I think he blew a wheel. He did. He blew the right tire. That's a quick change. That's a pretty good pit crew.
That is.
Did a nice job. I mean, he didn't lose any time at all.
Where's the spat?
Man, I'll tell you what. Well, watch the tights. You talk about a pirouette. That's unbelievable. I mean, that's ballet-like right there. He was so quick, he ran out of his shoes.
Well, you want to talk about a backfield? He was in the same backfield with Lendell White, the Southern Cal tailback in high school at Chatfield.
They were good.
Colorado, you bet they were good. And Webb, did he get it off? He did to Sproles. First down.
He was down.
Nope, they're going to bring it back.
And Webb saying, I was not. And the official saying, yes, you were, son. Argument going. Remember in college football, if the knee hits, he's down. But what an athletic play. It was bang, bang. And athletic play to just even try to convert it. Tremendous read by Missouri. Right knee is down, and now he gets back up, down again, really. It was down twice before he pitched that football. Is the right knee down? He loses.
Not there.
Right knee doesn't.
Wasn't there.
Right here.
There it's down.
Yeah, right knee down. Boy, that's just an athletic play, though. I mean, he's got a defensive end in his face. Just to be able to create something like that, that is incredible body control.
This is Jesse Martinez punting this time. Not Rayer. Mboga, fair catch, 38-yard line. That's a good punt. They were backed up a little bit. 3:37 to go in the third quarter.
And that was well.
43-yard punt.
Yep, changed field position, 43-yard net. Boy, Webb is, you know, down the road. If he doesn't play quarterback, an athlete of that capability, you have to have on the field somewhere. I mean, Webb played some wide receiver in high school. You have to let him return kicks, you know, be a wide receiver, maybe work a slash package out with him, like, you know, with Cordell Stewart. Let him get some snaps and some touches, because he is gifted athletically.
Well, you mentioned, Dave, in high school they did that because they had another very good quarterback in his high school program, and they switched off, and he would go to wideout when he wasn't playing QB. Good move by Woods just to get near the line of scrimmage. Kansas State's picked it up a notch defensively.
I'll tell you, once again, the guy that was disruptive in the backfield, causing problems, was 93, Scott Edmonds. He has had a game.
They haven't had him blocked all day. Ted Sims cleaned up 45.
He has been a disruptive force. Is that Noxie? No, that's not Noxie.
No, those are the Secret Service agents.
Noxie with shades or something.
Yeah, those protect Noxie. Those guys right there. You know what? Would you come to a game in a suit unless you had to?
You know what? It must be a fraternity deal.
Yeah.
Like a rush, fraternity rush.
That or a lost bet.
Right.
Sims, oh man, he almost threw it right into the hands of Brett Jones.
Boy, and Jones is thinking, I got to make that play. He's got 2 interceptions on the season. He had them both against Fresno State early in the year. And that's one that he's thinking. He was thinking golden goalpost before he secured the football. And little misdirection, play fake, change the launch point, get him out of pocket a little bit, throws it well behind his receiver. Jones not quite squared up.
3rd down and 11. Blitz coming. Smith throws, and that was nearly picked off. That was Porter. He already has one today. 4th and 11. And do you sense a little momentum shift in this game?
Absolutely. I mean, Kansas State, they're not going to quit. They're not going to spit the bit. And that's just great route recognition there by Porter. Then he closes on the football. They've done a nice job. You know, you have to give the defensive coaches credit. Bob Elliott, defensive coordinator for Kansas State, and his staff, the film study, the preparation. Kansas State is doing a nice job of jumping routes of Missouri.
Cross it to punt, Figures back at the 15. And this is returnable. He turned it over, but it's a line drive punt. Figures trying to get to the wall. And Figures has room above the 35. He can fly to the 41-yard line of Missouri.
He ran about 100 yards to return that ball.
54 yards on the return for Figures.
But he almost went another 40 going sideways. I mean, he went a long way to pick up his wall. Low line drive. He's between the hash mark and the numbers to the right side. Now he beelines it to the left, trying to pick up his wall. Is he going to pick up blockers? Nice job picking up the wall right here. Well, look at him pick some people up. And he can scoot.
And this was, they always, talking about K-State, dominated in special teams. Punt returns, David Allen, Chris Canny going back. They have not been good in punt return or punt coverage this year. 105th and 106th respectively in those 2 categories, but they just got a huge play from Figures.
They sure did, and as you described it, Drew, as soon as it left the punter's foot, it's like, oh, that's returnable. He drove it, but it is returnable. It's called out-kicking your coverage. And that's exactly what happened. Missouri out-kicked the coverage, and then Figures is so fast coming back at you, makes it a nightmare.
Yeah, they walled the return left, and he got inside the wall. 2nd and 6. Webb. He breaks the tackle, and he'll get a couple of yards, setting up 3rd down and about 4 from the 36-yard line of Missouri. Henry Sweat was there defensively.
And Missouri was so strong once again in the first half. 1 for 8. Kansas State on 3rd down. 0 for 14 for the game last week against Nebraska. The only 3rd down conversion they had in the first half, Alan Webb did with his feet when he was backed up. See what happens on this monumental 3rd down conversion opportunity here. I think it's 4 down territory for Bill Snyder anyway.
We're getting close.
1:17, clock moving. That's what's left in the third quarter. Webb, oh, what a great move. First down and more to the 21-yard line.
What a move he made to freeze. You get a guy between a rock and a hard, but look at that freeze on the pitch. You know, what do? It's like, I can't make a right decision here. That's a kid that runs the option with tremendous confidence. What an explosive runner he is.
He has ignited Kansas State. They look like they were hopelessly out of it in the second quarter, down 21-0. Alone in the backfield is Io Saba. They don't hand it to him much. Here's a quick throw. Polite with the football. And he's got it for about 9 or 10. Antoine Polite.
Well, when you have football teams struggling like these two have, look at the cushion. There's nobody near him. Now his compatriot tries to make a block. If Herrera can make a better block, Polite's got more room to journey after catch.
He got enough for the first down. 1st and 10 from the 11.
Two teams that are in a fragile state of mind like these two are. Momentum is everything. Missouri had it. Kansas State has it now.
See if they work Sproles in here. They do on a counter. Wow. And he is blown up in the backfield. Getting penetration. Henry Sweat, the Mike linebacker. I'll tell you what. You talked about Sproles and Smith, your best players being good people. How about one of your best players being extremely smart, like a guy who got into Harvard?
Yeah, that's true. And Henry Sweat put Darren Sproles in a sweat, and that's a tough thing to do. I mean, with the penetration and right on top of him as quickly as he got, Sproles had nowhere to go.
There's only two guys I know who turned down Harvard, now a third. My partner Dave Lapham, his son Dave Lapham, and Henry Sweat. 21-14 Mizzou. You bet. 3 quarters done in Columbia. You're watching College Football Saturday on FSN. Start saving. It's all about the O. Well, right now, the O, which was in hiding for Kansas State in the first half, is in full gear.
And so is the Mo for momentum.
You're right. Oh, and go. That rhymes, Dave. Very nice. Second down and 14. Webb throws to the 10 and knocked out of bounds is Herrera at the 8. They can get a first down at the 1-yard line. They don't have to score here. It's 3rd down, though, and they'll have about 7 yards to go for the first 8 for the touch.
And coming into today's game, Missouri's defense had been in the red zone 17 times, had only given up 7 touchdowns. 41% of the time allowing the opposition to convert. A big red zone defensive opportunity for the Missouri Tigers here, and for the Wildcats offensively to tie this game.
Trips right, Sproles in the slot inside of Herrera to the near side. Webb, screen, nice, and this is going to go to the house. Touchdown, Jermaine Herrera. Great call.
Middle screen, Bill Snyder, boy, and Del Miller and Greg Peterson as co-coordinators. They collaborate on an outstanding call, because you got to figure Missouri is going to be very aggressive defensively, and watch them get up the football field here. They got a blitz on, blood cross. Here come the linebackers. Now you hit the vacated area with a middle screen. Nobody home. They all blitzed. Herrera's in the end zone. It was like they were listening to the defensive call before they made their offensive call. Beautiful match.
Well, that's knowing tendencies, and if Ream hits the extra point, as he does, we are tied at 21, and more than 65,000 at Faurot Field have to be in shock. Missouri was leading 21-0. It's now all even. Early stages of the 4th quarter in Columbia. This year, and Missouri, they got to cover that football.
Yeah, got to cover it up.
They just did. They just did. Flying down on special teams was Marcus Watts. He dives on that football, and it's a touchdown.
Gary Pinkles had to wipe his brow. It's like, come on, guys, let's get back in the game.
fumbles the football, hits the ground. Now you got to get after it. I mean, it's a muff. You got to get after it. You have to down the football. Boy, Kansas State almost got there.
Yeah, right now, Missouri, you have a leader in Brad Smith offensively, a 3-year starter. Damian Nash has played a lot of football. They need to respond.
No question about it. They have to change the momentum. On the road for Kansas State to rally back from 21 points like they have to tie the game is an accomplishment.
Here's Nash, and he drives ahead for 7 or 8. That's a good first down play.
You know, Missouri is 18-1 under Gary Pinkel when they've had a halftime lead. The only loss was Oklahoma State 2 weeks ago here.
And K-State has not won this year when they were down at halftime. They're 0-5.
Whoa!
Nash busted.
Here we go.
Nash.
Whoa!
Excuse me, this is... No, that is Nash all the way to the 4-yard line. I got confused for a second. Nash inside the 5 to the 4. Bo Veman made a big block to spring him.
Just like on the touchdown run earlier in the game by Marcus Woods. Veman, the captain, again with a huge block to spring it. And boy, what a change in field position that is.
They mark him down at the 7. So Nash now at 112 yards.
You know, there's another number that's interesting. When Missouri rushes for 175 yards or more, they've got a phenomenal record.
2 tight ends. Here comes Smith, and he's dropped around the line of scrimmage.
Since 2002, when Missouri rushes for 175 yards or more, they're 16-1. 1-14 when they don't. Watch the lead blocker. Nice job on the edge securing it. Kick out. Wow, nice kick out. That's textbook. And there goes Nash. And the officials trying to get in position as Nash closes on him. Tetuan does a nice job of running him down from behind. He's averaging a first down every touch of the ball running it.
Here's a naked Smith, and he had to throw low. Breaking on the football was Brett Jones. Cisse the intended target.
And the disruptive force once again that was in his lap making noise.
Scott Edmonds.
Scott Edmonds again. The kid is consistently getting pressure. You have to start at some point in time thinking, okay, I have to chip him with a back. I have to put a tight end over there. I have to do something to slow Edmonds down, because he has been living right there in Brad Smith's face a lot today. He has been a force.
3rd and goal. Veman to the left of Smith. Now Smith on the backside has a man in the back of the end zone. It's his favorite target. Coffee couldn't get it to him. And we'll see Tannerelli.
You know what? When you have Edmonds, we talked about maybe chipping him with a back, giving some help when you tackle struggling. Now he's matched up against the tight end. Now you put a back in there, and you got a tight end and a running back, double teaming the defensive end. The fullback and the tight end take him. And that's what you have to do when you have a guy that is causing edge problems like he is.
Tannerelli from 24 yards out has it through. It's 24-21. Missouri back on top. But they were looking for 6, not 3.
No doubt.
13:08 to go in the 4th quarter. Tigers leading the Wildcats by a field goal. They have a 24-21 lead. Man grabs the football again, and he's to the 38-yard line. I have to tell you something. I never understood the squib kick. 38-yard lines, great field position for Kansas State. You know what? Kick the ball off and go cover it.
Well, and he made a great play, making a one-handed snag of the football like he did. That was a very athletic play, and because of that play, was able to give his team tremendous field position. You're right, Drew. You want to angle it at the wedge, but you don't want to angle it at a guy that can handle the football that well. You like to try to angle it at a lineman if possible.
Especially late, some teams will they have a lead to protect it, they'll kick it on the ground, and you've seen it backfire many times.
Right.
Alan Webb started right, and he'll dart back up the middle for about 5 or 6 yards. Tackled by James Kinney.
Then the flip side of it is, if you kick it deep, you deal with Sproles or Figures or somebody like that, and that scares the guy coaches to death too.
Now they've been pretty consistent. Gary Pinkel has done this throughout the day, kicked it on the ground. But my point of contention is late when teams do it. If that was the best way to limit a return, why would you not do it every time? Why just do it when there's 2 minutes to go and you've taken a lead? Second down and short. Casey goes in motion. Here's Sproles trying to bounce it wide. He's got to cut it back, and he'll get 4 yards when there was nothing there. First down for Kansas State. Let's again check in with Jim Knox.
Hey guys, right here in the Missouri offensive huddle, Tony Palmer, the big offensive guard, came in and said, guys, we got to get 7, not 3. We got to get 7. They realize their opportunities may be running out. You get it down there that quick in the red zone, you got to take advantage of that, especially the way K-State's moving the football.
No doubt, Knoxy, you do not want to settle for field goal opportunities.
Now Webb will audibilize.
Good protection.
It's breaking down now, but he had all day. And Webb will use his feet to get 3. Tripped up by Dedrick Harrington. He's got to go to the spat, Dave. I mean, he just has to.
He is. He's having trouble.
He's like my 3 boys. I'm constantly tying shoes on there.
You know what? Tell him to double knot. You know,
I'm going to start spatting my kids up.
Yeah, and Webb, double knot. Put that double knot on there, and maybe keep the shoe on tighter.
The first down line is brought to you by Overstock.com for name brand products at clearance prices. It's all about the O. 2nd and 7. That or just take them off, go barefoot. Not likely.
No.
Blitz coming. Webb gets it to Sproles in the flat. He'll have a first down and more. Sproles still going to the 20-yard line. Nino Williams finally got him.
Well, he just ran away from James Kinney. James Kinney is in position. He's a linebacker that can make plays, but he just accelerated. And the biggest thing, one of the big things about Sproles, watch him get to full acceleration in 2 steps. Gone. See ya. I mean, James Kinney has got no shot at trying to catch him. Now he's at the level of safeties, and they are the last line of defense. What a play.
Webb on the option. He's not going to get much. He ran into Michael Weiner's right guard, and then C.J. Mosley grabbed him and tackled everybody. Here's big C.J., 305-pound junior.
Very disruptive. The interior defensive tackles have combined for almost 22 tackles for loss in the season. And these guys, set the tempo and the tone up front for the defense.
He's been starting for the better part of 3 years.
I'll tell you, Webb showed me something on that little pass to Sproles. He stood in the pocket, knew he was going to get drilled, held the ball the last second, took the hit, and deposited the ball to Sproles.
He's made a couple of good throws. One to Brian Casey in the first half on a seam route. Again, they try to pressure him. And Webb, that time, couldn't get his feet underneath him to get the football to Figures. It'll be 3rd and 10.
In the red zone, inside the 10-yard line. You got a double inside linebacker blitz by Missouri. Kansas State answers with a middle screen. Herrera just walks into the end zone.
3rd down and a full 10 yards. 5 wideouts. Webb, end zone shot, touchdown. What a throw and what a catch by Polite. The senior from Indianola, Iowa.
And that ball had some RPMs on it.
And the first lead of the day for the K-State Wildcats. Antoine Polite from Alan Webb.
What a throw by Webb.
That ball had some mustard on it. And Webb is growing up a lot today. Empty backfield, good protection. They only rush 4 and they get blocked well over the linebacker in front of the safety. Actually split the linebackers right there. Sweat made the hit over Kinney. What a throw.
Ream's extra point is through. 28-24. If you were watching the first half of this football game, you're surprised as 63,000+ here at Faurot Field. Wildcats by 4. Kansas State, our Corona Miles from the ordinary. Kansas State has beaten Missouri 11 straight years, but the Big 12 record is ongoing. Nebraska 36 straight against the Jayhawks.
And this year it was 14-8. Nebraska edged the Jayhawks. A good game, but still goes in the right-hand column instead of the left-hand column. And last time Kansas State beat Missouri beat Kansas State, it was 1992.
Marcus Woods is the single setback behind Brad Smith. Woods gets the call, and he gets enveloped by Tiarius George. How about Bill Snyder? I mean, we have sung his praises for years and years, and rightfully so. 16 years, the dean of coaches now in the Big 12. 6 of the last 7 years, Coach Snyder has won 11 games at least. Last year, Dave, remember, they stumbled in the middle of the year. They lose 3 straight.
Right.
They come out of nowhere. They win 6 in a row. They hammer #1 Oklahoma 35-7. And look at this game, down 21-0. They're resilient.
And they're resilient. He makes tremendous adjustments.
Smith throws on the move. Was that a catch? No. It hit the ground. Coffey says he came up with it. The official has a little more leverage.
Yeah, the official had a clear view of it. And football is all about adjustments and making adjustments to adjustments. And it's a chess match, and that's what Missouri is going through right now, trying to make adjustments to recapture a lead in this football game. Does he get his hands underneath it? He does, but the ball splits his hands, and the turf helps him secure it. Doesn't have full control.
3rd and 8. Press coverage at the bottom of the screen. Kansas State brings 4, and Smith had it batted, and it's picked off. This is going to end up in the end zone. Touchdown, Brandon Archer.
Did Edmonds deflect that ball? I mean, who was it that the ball was deflected and picked off?
I think Derek Marceau got a deflection, Dave.
Oh, that was big. A tip ball at the line of scrimmage. There's Marceau. Get the right hand up. Gets both hands up. Deflects it. Airborne, picked off. Nice job by Archer. And then to right himself and say, you know what, I can score on this. Defensive touchdown, unconventional score. Defensive touchdown by Kansas State. What a comeback. Down 21-0 at one time.
This has to be eerily familiar now for the Missouri fans and Gary Pinkel. They were up 17-0 on Oklahoma State, a top 20 team.
With less than a minute to go in the first half.
54 seconds left in the first half. They end up losing that football game to the Cowboys. They are now down by 11.
Grew up in a small town, and when the rain would fall down, I just stare out my window.
.852, there's all kinds of time. Gary Pinkel's offense needs to get it in gear again. All they have in the second half is a field goal. They were up 21-7 at the break.
And it is eerily familiar to that Oklahoma State game, which was a tale of two halves. It was a Charles Dickens special. And this game is a tale of two halves unfolding as well, depending on how it winds down.
Smith dumps it in the flat. Little screen play, but Nash is tackled at the line of scrimmage. Good play. Maurice Thurman made the tackle.
Look at Kansas State here in the fourth quarter. 21 points they've hung on the board in the fourth quarter. Remarkable. You know, and there's pride and tradition in this Wildcat program, and it's rearing itself today.
Now Smith, and he's going to go down.
Ball's
the
out.
Sack by Eccles.
He's down.
And they're going to say he was down. And that's a coverage sack. I mean, Smith had time. He's floating around in the pocket.
Now, when you're down by 2 scores, down by 11, you feel like you have to throw the football, and it's much tougher to pass block when you have to throw. Nice bull rush inside. Smith has nowhere to go. That's a pretty darn solid effort inside by a guy that shot put with legs there, Marvin Simmons.
You know, I would counter that.
Quentin Eccles, I mean.
But you know what? You don't have to throw. I know a lot of coaches feel like you do,
right?
But particularly in college, when they stop the clock every first down. He's down 2 scores with 8+ minutes. They need to get it to the 30, and they won't. He's going to come up a yard short. Now it's Victor Cisse, the tight end.
Now what do you do? Do you punt it away, or is it 4-down territory? I mean, less than 7.5 to go. How many possessions you going to have? Do you have confidence? Your defense had played so well in the first half, has been taken apart a little bit here in the second half with Alan Webb at quarterback instead of Dylan Meyer.
Gary Pinko made a decision.
He's going 4 down.
He just pointed. He said, "You go get it." This is enormous if they come up short. They hand it to Nash. He makes a good move for the first down. First down to the 35-yard line. That stops the clock. 6:52 left. 35-24. Missouri trailing K-State.
What you do is try to run to a bubble, and by formation they created a bubble over the right guard. Linebacker instead of a down lineman. Nice block. Finish the block. First down.
Smith drops the football, and then he gets dropped at the 26-yard line. Guess who's there again?
Yeah.
Scott Ed. They blocked him once today.
He has been spectacular. First step off the line of scrimmage. Here he comes off the corner, and that's just a great effort. I mean, you're going to have to chip like they did before. Lining him up, getting pass blocking with a tight end isn't going to work. Put a tackle over there, a chip with a back. You have to seal his upfield move. He is getting off the ball quicker than the down lineman, or than the offensive lineman.
Smith screen set up, and this is blown up. They threw it to Veman.
Archer again.
And Archer was all over it.
You talk early in the season, he wasn't even starting. I mean, he has come gangbusters. He's really come on strong for Bob Elliott, defensive coordinator at Kansas State.
6'2", 225. He's a sophomore from St. Paul, Minnesota. He had a brother who played at the University of Minnesota.
Now, 3rd and 19 is not a down and distance situation you have a lot of plays in your game plan for. You have to almost think about, again, 4-down territory. Get a chunk of it so you can make it convertible on 4th down, since you already went for it once.
Clock's moving inside 5:15 to go when the ball snapped. Now Smith, and he gets dropped at the 15-yard line. Kansas State has come alive on both sides of the ball. Derek Marceau gets the sack. He had the deflection in the last series that led to the touchdown as Archer picked it off and went in.
And now it's a case of all the confidence, momentum. Watch the bull rush inside. Watch the big fella get after it. Marceau. Boom, runs, nice little swim. Now keep pushing. Spin, get after it. It's pretty good action right there. But the guards and tackles are responsible for the depth of the pocket, the width by the tackles, I should say. Centers and guards the depth, and it all collapsed.
Figures, who had a big return earlier. He won't have one here. Kansas State at the 41-yard line takes over with 4:23 left, up by 11. Gary Pinko yesterday on what's in front of Missouri.
Yeah, there's a lot out there, and I think that that's the approach we take with our players. They've had a great work ethic. We've practiced well. I think anytime you go through something like this, and I've been through it a couple times, there's a confidence issue with your football team, and we're working hard to do that. But when I've been here before, you got to win. That's the one thing that's going to make you feel better, and that's why the game's so important.
Well, right now they don't feel so good. Sproles dips and darts. And you have to get a stop, Dave, because now the clock is a huge ally of Kansas State.
Oh, absolutely. There's going to be minimal number of opportunities to get it back for Missouri. And
I mean, think about this, Dave. If they were unsuccessful, Missouri, offensively, and they throw incompletions, there's 3 more minutes still on the clock, but they were getting sacked.
Right.
So the clock's still moving.
Sure. And Darren Sproles, you know, you may stop him for 1, stop him for 3, maybe -1, then he goes 70. I mean, you just never know with a guy like that.
And he's going to be the workhorse here. He busts it up the middle. First down. Kinney makes the tackle. But it's to the 45 of Missouri. And, I mean, their bubble has burst. They were confident. Coach Pinkel was saying we had to get our confidence back. They were confident in the first half.
Oh, defensively, they were holding the first 15 snaps of the game. Kansas State at 15 yards. I mean, you know, but the thing is, you may play great defense for 62 snaps, but if there are 70 in the game and there are 8 snaps where you didn't play that great defense, there are big play opportunities that teams like Kansas State capitalize on, and you have to play every single snap team defense.
And offensively, they haven't done much in the second half. They had the big run by Nash that set up a field goal. Sproles, did his knee touch?
No, how could he not? I mean, he put the right hand down and made the tripod. Amazing that he kept his balance.
Wow.
He is so low to the ground. That kid is just got his heart, a heart as big as anybody. He's got a big C on his chest for competitor. And let's take a look at it. When he gets that right hand down, does the knee hit? Loses his footing? Nope, it doesn't. He just keeps dragging that toe. I mean, watch him just drag that right foot. His knee won't get out. Whoop, he just keeps dragging it. That's incredible.
His shin touch, but that's not his knee.
Like a piston rod.
You mentioned he looked like a skier. That's what he did look like. Here's Sproles again, first down yardage, and now 4 fresh downs. 2.5 minutes to go. The clock stops on the first down.
You know, Sproles is the closest thing to a Barry Sanders type that I've seen. The way he can run sideways and backwards as fast as he runs forward. I mean, when he changes direction, he comes out of a cut. He doesn't lose speed. And he's got a, you know, he's got a smooth 177 yards.
Something in the water in Kansas.
Total yards right there.
Something in that water in Kansas. Barry's from Wichita.
Absolutely. He's so durable. He doesn't take a flush hit.
Cuts it back. A couple of yards. Marcus Bacon made the tackle. Kansas State looking pretty. 35-24 they lead. For a Dr. Pepper game break, let's check in again with Bill Jones. Bill?
Back to the SEC, Drew and Dave. Arkansas leading South Carolina 32-28. Just over a minute left. It's Savell Newton to Troy Williamson. South Carolina takes the lead 35-32. Now less than a minute to play in the game. What a wild one in South Carolina.
Fast break football.
Yeah, exactly.
And the final timeout called by Allen Webb on 2nd and 7 with 1:24 left. I'm as shocked as the 60, close to 65,000 here, Dave. I mean, Missouri was playing very, very well on both sides of the football. And you know what you have to go back to? You didn't think it was that big the way the first half played out. 3 turnovers. They were -2 in that first half, and they had a chance on the opening drive of the game to score points, and they coughed it up.
Yeah, I agree. And then when Kansas State comes back and ties it, Missouri goes down and settles for a field goal instead of the touchdown. We said at that point, you know, don't settle for the field goal, because Kansas State comes back down and Webb pounds a touchdown pass in there, and they take the lead. Now Missouri feels like, geez, we got to try the ball. Marceau deflects it. You know, it's picked off. It's taken back. For a touchdown by Archer. Now all of a sudden you have an unconventional score, and then Missouri saying, now I'm down 2 scores, got to throw the ball. It changed the whole mindset of the football game when they settled for a field goal instead of scoring a touchdown in that opportunity in the red zone.
You bet it did. Webb hands it to Sproles. He gets a yard. That's it. Missouri will call timeout. 1:14 left And let's go down and visit again with Noxie. Jim?
All right, Drew, email question. Bonnie from Manhattan wanted to know, hey, what about finding Darren Sproles' dad? He's somewhere at the game. Well, here he is down on the sidelines. Larry Sproles, what do you think so far, this 21-point comeback by the K-State Wildcats?
Well, I think they got it coming because that first half, they couldn't get anything together. Webb come to the game and freed everybody up, and man, it just flowed from there.
How proud of you of your son, Darren?
I'm very proud of both of my boys. Terrence, how you doing? And I'm just glad to be here.
All right, look at this, guys. You see where Darren gets his height right here? He's built like a fire hydrant himself. He's solid as a rock, Dave.
Hey, all I want to know, Noxie, all I want to know is Larry. Does Larry have as quick a feet as Darren?
Let's see, Larry, do you have some quick feet like Darren? Let's see.
Yeah, let's see. Give us some cuts, Larry. Make a couple moves
back in the day, Dave. Back in the day.
Hey, make a couple moves on Noxie. He can't take you down open field.
There's proud dad, Larry Sproles, and his son Darren.
You can see that.
Quiet in the first half, didn't have many touches.
Yep.
The first down line is brought to you by Overstock.com, your online outlet. It's all about the O.
You know, you look at Larry Sproles, you can see the apple didn't fall far from the tree, and then Darren loses his mom, which was very, very painful for him to cancer. And you can tell that he was brought up right. You know, he's from a strong family, and that's what he's all about, is his family first and foremost.
Lost his mom earlier this year. And Darren to the 26-yard line. That'll bring up fourth down again. The clock stopped by Missouri with 1:05 left. But the problem for Missouri is even if they get it back and pull off some sort of miracle, they are 2 scores now, 35-24. So it looks like Kansas State's going to make it 12 straight victories against Missouri. Defensive player of the game brought to you by Cooper Tires, Scott Edmonds. Fumble recovery, a sack, and you see down there it says hurries. What that is short for multiple hurries. And I mean, he had a slew of them today against Brad Smith.
Yeah, Brad Smith is going to see 93 in his dreams tonight because he was all over him. He was the disruptive force, snap after snap. He was in Missouri's backfield as much as Brad Smith was, and Archer was a beneficiary of some pressure. Deflected ball by Marceau. Archer took back that interception for a touchdown. So obviously a candidate for defensive player of the game, but on a snap-by-snap basis, Edmonds caused problems, made Missouri try to alter protections to take care of him, and then it caused other matchup problems, and when you have to put 2-on-1, and he was a force, a factor. You know, I know I've already said it once, but Darren Sproles, not only is this kid a fantastic football player, but he was an All-American son, brother, friend, long before he was an All-American on the football field. And look at him, he's 5'6", and Doty's like 6'8", and you can't even see Darren Sproles. It doesn't matter how, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog, and that dog's got a lot of fight.
He's a tremendous, tremendous football player. Fourth down and 3. And Sproles will have the first down at the 20-yard line. That'll ice it. Now they'll just have to put a knee down after this. Here's a bit of a surprise from the Big 12. Iowa State putting a hurt on Nebraska. And Nebraska was in the driver's seat at 3-2 in the North, so it gets even crazier.
Coach Mack. Don't forget about Iowa State.
And Coach Mack's team started slow this year. They have a chance to go to 5-4.
Yep,
Missouri's going to drop to 2-4, and K-State not out of it, as crazy as it sounds, at 2-4. They may end up 3-5 for all 6 schools.
Iowa State can control their own destiny if it keeps going the way it is today. Unbelievable.
This is going to go down as the 4th straight loss for Missouri, and their season has turned into a tragedy, to be honest.
Yeah, it's been something that you hope you never have to experience. It's a character builder, but boy, is it painful as you go through it, man. And what if you talk about character and an ability to come back and handle adversity? This is on the road. Kansas State is down 21-0 on the road, and to show the intestinal fortitude and the character to come back and play and win the game by 11 is quite a swing.
A great win for Bill Snyder. A very disappointing loss, frustrating loss for Gary Pinkel's school. Our college football Saturday tripleheader continues tonight with 2 games in the Pac-10. First at 6:30 in the East, 3:30 out west. Stanford will take on number 22 Arizona State. And then at 10 in the East and 7 out west, it's Southern Cal against Oregon State. Again, the final score 35-24. K-State comes from 21 points down to win it. For Dave Lapham and Jim Knox and our entire crew, I'm Drew Goodman saying so long from Columbus.